I wanted the details of whatever, because I'm not there now either, so I needed the details of what's going on. Plus
Oh, no.
your stuff too.
Oh, well,
But you could have also been simultaneously using this entire time to try to connect to the game.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was
God, now
thinking.
we're going to spend another 45 minutes
no,
waiting for you to
well,
figure out how to enter in your password and stuff.
I mean, that's probably not going to
Family View,
happen.
but I don't understand.
Yeah, I am in Family View. I'm exiting Family View now. It should just take. So, do you know that she's got a broken rib and a broken arm?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're I asked like details, and she's like she doesn't remember, but they're minor fractures, and that was kind of what we figured. Like I said, we were monitoring her over those days, and if I needed her to go, I would have done basically the same thing you did, but I would have done it. We all do things in our own way. My way would have been more persuasive and.
You probably would have had more
tripping.
time. I was on a really short time limit.
That too. Also, like
Jake, your giant hand timed just perfectly that it like went across my screen, and it was just like the Chinese spy balloon. That was all I could see for a moment. It was literally the perfect angle.
Also, I was there from the day that it happened. You had not seen her until that day. You come in and her arm was all big, purple, and swollen. You're like, what the hell? So that is also a bit more significant. But yeah, we were watching her across however long and monitoring it. And I was like, yep. And as soon as the ice melts, we're going to get you an X-ray because she's not in critical condition, but we need to get it checked out just to be sure. Blah 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 blah. And I used the thing of when I think it was Zach and someone else were throwing me around, swinging me and dropped me.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Who do you think that was?
Elijah?
Yeah.
Elijah. Okay, he starts backing up and he starts going super fast.
He's
and I
such a
start going,
piece of shit.
Slow down, hold on, because you were slipping out of my wrist and I couldn't move forward faster without dropping you. But I could, and he wouldn't slow down, and then you fell out of my arm.
So you were the one who dropped me.
Yes, I was.
Yes, because of that piece of shit.
Shit wouldn't slow the fuck down.
He really was a. He really was a fuck. He really is a fuck. He's like a legitimate.
Running backwards at full speed. It's exactly the same reason how I broke my arm because of Amanda's brother. Slow down, slow down, slow down, and speeds up, and then I can't keep up, and I trip and fall forward.
Yeah, he's just Captain Prick, and I wish that he had lost more of his fingers.
But
and there's other things I won't say on the live stream.
But no, I legitimately, you were slipping out of my hands, and he was going faster because, believe it or not, when you're carrying somebody like that, it is easier to be the one going backwards if there's nothing to trip over.
Yeah.
You can move faster than the one going forward. At least the way I had you, you were starting to slide out of my hands. You were a kid and you weren't holding on to me. There's nothing you could do, and I couldn't keep my grip unless he stopped, and I was trying to avoid dropping me.
Yeah. No, the action taken was him not stopping when he should have, and he basically pulled my arms out of your arms.
If we were carrying his furniture, and we were adults and we were moving into his place and we were carrying his furniture, and the other person is helping and carries furniture, says slow down, slow down, slow down. I bet he fucking slows down because he doesn't want to drop his goddamn couch.
True. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he also was like kind of fucking around with Zach, and they were kind of like wrestling, and then he punched Zach in his recently healed broken rib, like just to be a dick. And one time he
not even on accident.
And
he knew exactly what he was doing.
Another time he just pissed me off too much, like because he always used to like to just insult and just say shit just to try to piss you off. And he was supposed to be like hanging out. We're supposed to be just doing stuff or whatever. And then he just said one more shitty thing to me, and then I just begeed out on him and I just attacked him. But like I was in full control because like I knew that I could kick his ass, so I just wanted to basically beat him in wrestling, and he kept trying to get away, and he was slamming up against walls and shit, and then he kept going, but it was all him. Like, he was just trying to get away from me, and it's like, yeah, I'm bigger and stronger than you. It doesn't matter that I don't work out. It's like the Begee thing, some people just have the genetics up on someone else. He's British. I mean, sorry, he's British. So, oh, is that... I hope British people... Oh, I shouldn't say British people. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
British is okay to.
My point is he started going, I could really hurt you if I wanted to. I could really hurt you if I wanted to. I could really, and it's like, yeah, no, you can't. Then he punched me in my back, and it didn't hurt, and I didn't realize what he did at first, and then I realized he was trying to hit me in my broken back. But he's an idiot, and he doesn't know how to use someone's injury against them properly. But that's what he thought. He thought, oh, Nick has a broken back, and so it was like kicking someone in the nuts. Like he's going to do a cheap move to hurt me in order to win the fight. And he didn't. And I just held him there in a headlock, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I think that was the last time he came over. I'm like, you know what? It's not even fun making fun of you anymore. You're just a literal piece of shit. And he is a literal piece of shit. He's a trash human being.
Must run an entire family. ...
But
yeah. So anyway, when she made me go to get an X-ray, I didn't want to get an X-ray. I was like, no, it doesn't hurt that bad. It's not obviously broken. It'll be fine. But she baited me with like, and that was how I got my Game Boy Color. So, she made me go get an X-ray, and I said, oh, good, perfect. This is just like that time I hurt my arm, and you made me go against my will because it was the best thing. So exactly the same thing. This is your arm. It's probably not bad, but we're going to go just in case. And I would have gotten her eventually to do it, but like you said, you didn't have very much time. I didn't have very much time. I was leaving, and there was still ice. So no, I'm glad that all worked out because that was what needed to happen, especially with all that other stuff I didn't know about. So
yep. God, I hate Elijah.
All right, are we ready to start?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to start my recording, which I haven't been able to do.
My recording's going.
Oh, I know. I like to record just.
Elijah is a piece of shit. The second biggest piece of shit that I know. Now I have to call him the second biggest piece.
True. Yeah, I mean, if you start quantifying things like that, it's like, okay, where do you fall on that list? You just kind of have to classify them all as the same. They're all about the same.
If I was driving down the street and I looked over and the car next to me had Elijah and Lane sitting next to each other in it. ...
Is that like the shoot Toby twice thing?
No, don't say that word. Who's Toby?
It's the Office thing. I don't want to say the whole thing because that would be.
Oh yeah. Oh, did Michael say that?
Yes.
I don't know the reference. Can you please explain?
It's no.
You know the reference.
No, I don't. I don't remember.
Okay. So on The Office,
no,
Michael, I'm not going to say the words.
Okay,
Michael
fine. Say banana.
I will say banana. You know The Office, right? Yes, I'm assuming.
Yeah, of course.
I have to make sure. Okay.
This is a bait.
Michael,
but go ahead.
Michael is saying how much he hates Toby, and he says,
"Who's Toby?"
The HR guy that he hates for no reason because the HR guy keeps telling him he can't do.
He just does
his job.
The
HR guy. I don't remember the HR guy.
Real quiet and sandy and
short hair. You can't keep them kidnapped, Michael. I can do whatever I want, basically like that. He tells him things that he can do that are within HR and like the law. And Michael's like, okay, but I'm the boss and I hate you, so I'm doing it anyway. He's the voice of reason, but everyone hates him for that. Anyway, you'd have to know more. I can't go into the details of why Toby's annoying, but just know that he is.
I don't understand. Please explain why he's annoying.
And Michael says, if I was in a room, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised you're not trolling me right now, but I'm going to say it anyway because I love it.
I think he's trolling, but tell it anyway.
It's my favorite joke. He says, if I was in a room with Toby and an Austrian leader.
Oh God!
Germany. And I had a banana with 2 oranges in it. I would feed the oranges to Toby twice.
I don't get it. Is this a sex joke?
So anyway, okay,
sounds
let's
like
see.
A sex joke.
That joke is literally impossible to tell in any way. It touches on every single possible. Just add in COVID. If I had 2 COVID vaccines, 2 vials of the C word. I need to stop saying it.
I'll type out the full thing on Messenger later just for fun, just in case he's not trolling. But anyway, when we last left our adventurers.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
You didn't throw in anybody like Stanley into it, though, so I don't think you touched on everything.
La Chancla! Tinga La Chancla, vámonos!
So Kara had finished speaking with Black Jay and was going to come back tomorrow to start training. And then we cut to
Like
Jacina
Stanley.
at the same time, and Jacina was speaking to Jaru about the same thing,
And
and
yes, I know
decided
The
to go
Office
back and
better than
train.
I'm claiming. I was just trying to get you to say it.
And now, after those two are completed, we'll cut to Toddy and Pantok, who
Oh,
have
okay.
both presumably gone back to the tower
Yes.
to do the same thing, but with Burn. Was that correct? Is that where Toddy and Pantok were going?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, and Kara, you're here now, right? I know you were half zoned out during that.
Oh yeah, I'm right
Oh,
here.
okay, I was just making sure. Okay, so I mean, not that you have to do anything for a while because we have to do a Toddy and Pantok scene. So at the moment, we're still in that point in time where Kara is talking to Black Jay and Jacina is talking to Jaru, and at the same time, Toddy and Pantok, you arrive at Burns Tower, and you see the tower before you with its wooden reinforcements and the stone staircase leading up the side to the door.
Okay, cool. So Pantok wheels the does anyone remember how we had the fire elemental posing as
I
a
didn't mean to do that.
It's I don't y- you had a red flyer wagon with a brazier built into it, atop which the fire elemental sat to pretend it was
Yeah.
the flame of the brazier, I believe.
Yeah, he's all huddled up and pretending like he's a fire, and
Okay.
it's our mobile campfire.
Okay, so Toddy, I think that we should just go ahead and leave him out here, like kind of off to the side.
Preferably in a nice wooded area, a nice dry wooded area.
Actually, let's do it here behind the tower. And here, we're gonna put him behind the tower in like not where there's a wooded area, but where he's out of like the vision of people. And then I'm gonna take 10 minutes to put an alarm aura 20 feet around him. So cast the alarm ritual. So just to make sure that no one fucks with him.
Okay, I
But
will
as you're
just say
doing that, I'm busy summoning kindling to put around him. I'm kidding. I'm not wasting a spell slot, even though I have spell slots to spare for the day.
too late. You did that.
Oh, no.
I will say that this is up on a hill, and so putting him behind the tower is actually putting him directly in view of the entire town.
Oh Christ. Okay, then here, let's just put him over here, like below the staircase.
What if we covered him in mud?
Like Travis.
Like he looks like he's the mud. He looks like the mud elemental.
Let's cover him in jizz like Elijah. Sorry, I'm
Ew.
just trying to do a callback.
I mean, wherever you want to place him, but basically anywhere on this side, the left side of this tower would be in view of the town, and anywhere on the east side of the tower would be in view of the tower. So,
Right.
and there's
What
also
if we-
guards posted like at the top, like looking down. So there's not really a hidden place up on this hill where
We
you're at.
could just drag it to the outside and be like, just ignore our magical mobile campfire.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It is in a little red flyer wagon with print over it that says magical mobile campfire. So it's not unreasonable that it's just,
Oh, okay.
a mundane
Pretty well
magical
disguised.
object.
All right. We'll just leave it here. Okay. So now Pantok is going to ascend the staircase and wait for Toddy to get next to him.
I'm ascending the staircase.
All right. You are now at the top of the staircase.
Okay, Pantok takes 1/2 step back, so Toddy is slightly closer to the door, and he says, I think it's your turn, Toddy, to knock at the door.
I knock on the door.
All right. You knock on the door, and the solid steel door clangs as you ring it with whatever implement or knuckles you ring, and a few moments pass, and
I bang it with I grab Pantok's hand and I bang it with his knuckles.
Damn, that old trick.
no, now it has a knock.
Stop knocking the tower! Stop knocking the tower!
After a few moments, the door opens, and you are greeted by one of Burns' badgers, the guards who man the tower, and this one recognizes you, and he says, Oh, hello. Have you come to see Rufus or Burn today?
Yes. They are expecting us. On a private matter, of which we can't speak, but it is of the utmost urgency.
He says, "Oh, no worries. I will go fetch them. Luckily, they're both in right now, so I will go get both of them and let them know that you're here. If you'll wait here for a few moments, and they'll come back to greet you."
Okay, Pantox zones out and stirs off into space while I throw my sheets in the dryer. I'll be right back.
Okay.
But Zach can talk to someone if they show up. You guys can like keep going. It'll literally be like
Okay.
less than 1 minute.
So some time
When
passes.
Nick, when Nick comes back, I want you to be like, "How did you do that? How did you get Nick killed?"
If we could time it perfectly so we could actually sense when he was coming back, then I'd be like, "Oh my god, where are you?" But it would we'd have to either now it'd be too hard to time. But that's a great idea though.
Just say something like, "Roll,
If
roll a d20," and
if I hear
I'll
him
give a number, and then yeah.
if I hear him picking up his headset and putting it on, then I'll stop what I'm saying and start into that, but we'll try. Improv. So after a few moments, the door opens and the wizard Burn is standing there before you, and he says, "Ah, welcome back." He looks a little bit concerned, and then he looks relieved after he sees you're in safe condition. He says, "Oh, my guard told me it was urgent. I feared the worst, but I see that you're in one piece." Um, he looks a little bit nervous, then says, "Where are the rest of your companions? I hope nothing ill has befallen them."
Pantok killed them. He's part of the cult. Quick, attack! I have unearthed them.
Roll initiative.
Fun.
All right, let me grab my d20.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but just them.
Oh my
Don't
god.
stop
Ooh,
screaming.
17 plus 19.
Okay, Burn rolled a 4, and Pantok isn't here right now, so I'll roll for him. 17 plus his. I think you beat him though, so you're first in combat.
Probably.
So Burn pulls out his wand and points it at Pantok and says, "Is this true?" And Pantok continues staring off into space.
Damn, why are those letters LD above his head? Toddy proceeds to dash away 60 feet.
He looks at Pantok and says, "An enchantment spell. You're the true villain." And he casts a 6th level fireball on you.
Oh my god.
That is a lot of force.
Yeah, 6th level.
Oh, you're duplicating them. I thought you just rolled a bunch at once, and I'm like,
Uh,
wow, what are the odds?
51 fire damage.
What? No. What?
He attacked Burn, and then Burn nuked him with a fireball. Just kidding. I mean, technically not just kidding. We played it totally. I mean, he might have thought it was serious too, but no, fuck that.
I'm sure he heard us the whole time.
We were also contemplating trolling you when you got back, but I was like, no, that's gonna be too hard. But then he started saying stupid shit, and I was like, fine, I'll just. So I think we got Kara too.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Carl wasn't paying enough attention.
I'm gonna go ahead
Anyway.
and take 2 Tylenol. I don't know why. I just suddenly have a sharp headache. Okay, I'm not kidding.
What I did
but
in brief is he got Bird goes, "Hey, where's the rest of your companions?" I said, "It's Pantok. He killed them because he's with the cultists." And I dashed away and we rolled for initiative.
so I got back and I literally heard for 17 fire damage or whatever it was. Like that's
51.
50. Yeah, 50. That's what I heard when I come back. Is I saw Kara far away from the tower, and you said blah 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 for 51 fire damage to Kara or Toddy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like literally, that's what I heard, and I'm like, okay, I guess they're fucking with me. But what did you spend the whole time I was gone planning? Okay, when he gets back, when he says back, I'm gonna say for 51 fire damage.
That was what I wanted to do.
And I go, with my jazz hands in the air, I go improv.
Yeah. We just started going, and I was just gonna keep going until you got back. We could have gotten through like a whole session, and then we're like, yeah, none of that happened.
We
Anyway,
might get to play this
yes,
game
he answered the
eventually.
door.
Where's everybody else?
He was surprised because his guard said that it was urgent because those are the words you used when you sent the guard away,
It is
and he was afraid something bad happened, and he was relieved to see you both in one piece. But he looks around nervously and says, "Oh, I hope nothing ill has befallen your other companions. Where are they? Why are they not here?"
Oh no! They're in town. we just returned. We wanted to tell you the news as soon as we could, first thing, before we conduct business in town and let you know what's going on.
But we need to go somewhere private because it is of the utmostness.
He says, "Oh, absolutely, I understand utmostness." He says, "Please, please come in. No reason for you to sit out here in the crisp air." And he invites you in, and the tower looks the same as ever before.
Well, with our magical mobile campfire, it's not that crisp as long as we're right next to it.
He says, "Ah, yes, that does look very comfortable. Feel free to bring that in as well. Don't worry. My tower is warded against fire, so as long as it's not like
Oh, because his name is Burn.
it
That
should be
makes
fine."
sense.
He says it should be fine. Just as long as you're careful with it, it's not going to cause any trouble.
Okay. Well,
Nah, we can leave our campfire outside. I don't care. It's not my campfire, anyways.
I'll grab. Oh my God, I don't want to carry it up the stairs. We're leaving it here.
Okay. He says, "I'll have one of my guards make sure to watch over it so nothing happens. But in this sleepy little town, I don't expect anything bad to come of it." And as you get
This town
in,
is not as sleepy as you think.
as you get inside the tower, he asks one of the guards to make some tea for the guests, and he walks over to the table and pulls out some chairs and sits down himself and says, "Please, please have a seat and tell me your tale." He says, "Rufus should be down in a few moments. He's finishing something up, and then he'll be down to join us. But please go ahead and get started. He can be filled in afterwards. What news do you have of the moat house and your exploration? Hopefully everything is peaceful and calm there, and there's nothing to report, and we have nothing to worry about."
Well, unfortunately, it's kind of the opposite. We encountered a large group of thugs. There was, like 6 or 8 of them, and we defeated all of them but one. He got away. But we also came across some storerooms that almost looked like they were being stocked with, stuff for a small army. We found loads of weapons and armor and stuff like that. And then we came across an ogre guarding a dungeon. We also found some cloaks that looked like cultist cloaks, but we did not actually encounter anybody who, besides the ogre, possibly who was of the cultists. But we suspect that there was more there. We did not quite finish our entire searching of the place because we rescued some people from the dungeon. And we brought them back to town, and we're going to recoup and get ready to go back and finish digging around looking for the rest of the cultists.
He says, "Oh dear, it sounds like there is quite a lot going on down there." He says, I fear you may be right. With the information you've given me, there's no way just a small band of thugs could be doing all of this stuff, and the hundreds of cloaks and storerooms prepared. I mean, those could have certainly just been relics from the past, but if they're as you described them, it sounds like they're fresh stockpiles, almost ready for war. He says, and the fact that there is an ogre down there is very concerning. There's no way a small band of thugs could keep that thing under their control. Of course, it's expected that bandits and the such would, because they like to hang out at abandoned buildings and places like that. But the description you've given me makes me fear that there is much more going on there. So I'm glad you're going back. But yes, definitely, I'm glad you came back to town first to recoup. And you say you saved some prisoners? That's very noble of you.
Could just leave them there to be eaten by the ogre.
He says, yeah, that wouldn't be very good at all. So I'm glad you were able to defeat the ogre and slay him so that he causes no one else any trouble and saved his prisoners.
Well, we couldn't defeat the ogre right there the way it was. That's why we're going back, one, to finish defeating the ogre, and then two, we know that there's more to the moat house that meets the eye than what we found. So we need to defeat the ogre and then continue exploring. So unfortunately, the ogre is not defeated yet, but he will be.
He strokes his beard in contemplation. He says, "You didn't defeat the ogre, but you say you rescued the prisoners. How did you accomplish such a feat of sneaking the prisoners out below the ogre's nose? Surely you must have used some magical sleep spells or a distraction or an illusion. How did you accomplish such a feat? I must know."
Me smart half elf, he dumb ogre.
he chuckles and folds his arms and says, "Ah, of course, you simply outsmarted him. That would be the easiest course of action, but you never know with ogres, especially ones who are in the service of someone else. They'll do anything for a promise of food or money or anything they perceive as valuable. So I'm
Just like
glad."
my ex-wife.
He says, "I'm glad you were able to save the prisoners without causing any harm to um, more creatures than necessary." He says, "In fact, um, if that ogre is still alive, he probably knows a good deal about the workings of the compound and things like that." He says, "If you were able to trick him once, surely you could trick him again in order to help you or unknowingly aid you, or even if you can convince him to, he might even be willing to assist you for the right price."
Perhaps.
He says, "Yeah, it's definitely something to think about." And at that moment, you hear Rufus coming down the stairs, and he shouts. He says, "Burn, do I hear you telling them to try and reason with an ogre?" "No, no, no, no. I mean, yes, but it's not so much reason with as much as trick and, you know, mm, convince, bribe." And Rufus says, um, he says, "Nothing ever good comes from dealing with monsters like that. The chances of them being eaten by the ogre is just as good as something good coming out of it. I think you should just slay that thing and be done with it and not have to worry about it." And Burns says, "That's an option too, but um, it would be at the cost of some potential intel. So I mean, certainly it's up to you. You're the adventurers and the ones who would be at risk here. So do what you will, but don't necessarily feel obligated to bring more harm to that creature than is necessary. We can deal with him after the moat house is cleared out."
We'll figure it out, make it up as we go along. That's how I live my life.
He shrugs and says, "Yeah, pretty much. It usually works for me," and laughs. And then he says, "Now, you mentioned some cultist robes. Um, I assume they're probably just some old cults or robes from the before the war. But do you happen to have one of them that I can examine?"
I whip it out from my magical pocket with a flourish. I think I spin it around.
He takes it from you and holds it by two fingers, and he goes, "Oh, it's kind of wet."
Well, you can tell I'm not married to Ben Shapiro.
And he takes it and he examines it and he stretches it out so he can see the symbol, and he looks at it strangely and he says, Well, this certainly isn't the same symbol that was on those river rocks you found." He says, "I don't think I recognize this from anywhere. It's not a doesn't seem to be a religious symbol or nothing that I'm familiar with. Uh, and in fact, that could be more. The fact I'm not familiar with it actually is concerning to me because, if it was one of the previously defeated cults, then I would probably recognize it. But this one seems like it might be something new going on. So, yeah, definitely. I don't think that those few bandits you defeated up top were the whole story. The fact that there's stockpiles of equipment and hundreds of cloaks makes me think that there is definitely much more going on down there, and you should search every nook and cranny of that place um, in
We're
order to
planning on
be
it.
sure it's cleared out.
It was a judgment call. Unfortunately, we encountered the prisoners before we fought the ogre, and it was a case of do we fight the ogre and risk their lives, or do we go ahead and get them out and come back to finish the job when it's more safe for everyone.
He says, "Oh yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, the prisoners were top priority. Lugging them around that place would have been more danger for you and for them. So I'm glad that was what needed to be done. And come here for advice. You did the right thing." He says, and once you're rested and ready to head back, come let me know just so I can keep tabs on where you're at and how long you've been gone and things like that. And he says, um, um, Rufus says, "Yeah, if you're ogre meat, then we want to make sure to send someone in to clean up after you." We don't want to leave that place
So what if
unconquered.
we had tried to fight the ogre and then we died? You guys would have no idea that there was an ogre even there, and you'd send another group into their doom instead of being prepared to know how strong are people you need to send in.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm glad you came back, so that you now know, and if something does happen, we'll know about the threat level that we're looking at. So, I think still you seem to be um, a pretty capable band of adventurers. So I think you could probably handle it once you got some more experience. Now that you've got some more experience under your belt, um, just use caution. Don't be afraid to take a break or come back and revisit town and stock up as needed. But
That's
um,
what we're planning. That's what we're here to do. We were thinking about training and stuff before we head back, but now that I think about it, I'm worried. What if the time it takes for us to train, it's time for them to even build up their forces even stronger?
he says, well, who's to say how long this activity has been going on? He says, I don't think a few more days will hurt too much, especially since you saved all the prisoners. It doesn't seem like there's anything urgent, but certainly you did say one of those bandits escaped, so there's always the possibility that they rebuild their forces. So you should certainly use caution when you go back, just in case. Don't treat anything as as safe.
Given.
Assume that yeah, don't take it for given. Assume that everything is just as dangerous as the first time you went in, but surely you did a number on them, and there won't be much more trouble awaiting for you. So I think if you take some time out to train, I think that would be for the best. He says, I would be more than happy to train both of you again, um, if you're interested.
And Eye of the Tiger montage.
He says, but I'm sure you're tired from your journey, so let's not talk too much more about that. Come back in the morning once you've rested, and if you're feeling up for training, then I'll be happy to take you in for a couple of days and teach you some new tricks. Um, but was there anything else you had for me? Any other questions or information you'd like to share?
Pantalk, was there anything you had?
Okay. East. One sec. I have notes. I just want to make sure we said everything. Okay. We told him that we found a torture room with recently killed skeletons, a horde of zombies,
I
hundreds of.
didn't mention any of that stuff.
Okay, so here's the stuff that I said to
Yeah,
him
go
during.
ahead.
Here's the stuff I said to him during the conversation.
Yeah.
I told him that we found a torture room in the secret basement that had skeletons that looked like they were recently killed. We found a bunch of zombies that came out of dungeon cells. We actually found hundreds of cultist cloaks in total. We just took a few as samples. The upper floor was run by the gang of bandits, but it seems like the cultists are hanging out downstairs. We found an armory with a large amount of weapons in it that looks like they're preparing for war. The ogre keeps talking about a master, and it seems like he's aligned with the cultists rather than the bandits. And all of that was in a secret underground room that we found. And there are also 3 prisoners that they were keeping for the ogre who has a chest. And based on information that we've gotten, it seems like there is another hidden passage that we haven't yet explored. And based on what we experienced there, we think that there are cultists active in the dungeon that we'll probably stumble across if we see them again.
So the new information there from the top. When you told him about the skeletons and the zombies, he just nods and says, "Yeah, that definitely sounds like cult activity. Definitely not something the bandits would do, and not something an ogre would be capable of doing. And it's almost certainly related to the ogre's master, whoever that may be. Which, if it's I mean that just reinforces the idea that it's definitely not the bandits. Like all of those things combined." He said
Speaking of cultists, there was also a bunch of tracks about paradise.
he says he's glad that you rescued the prisoners, of course. He agrees with you that there's probably another secret passage. He said if you found one secret passage, there's probably more. He says he thinks that first secret passage may be a remnant from when the building was originally constructed. And it sounds to him from the description that it was disused, not used very frequently. He says, but there may be another entrance or exit that the actual cultists use to avoid detection, to come and go as they please. He says, so certainly search any areas you may not have searched thoroughly, and it wouldn't hurt to have a person with you who has knowledge of secret doors and the things like that, like a rogue or a thief or something like that.
Good. Well,
Yeah, I think that was it.
one of our friends is skilled in the thievery art, so I'm sure that they will be able to help us.
He says, great, then I'm sure they will take the initiative and find the hidden doors for you with no problem at all, since that's what
Hidden
rogues do.
doors. Woo! Totally didn't have a problem finding hidden doors last time.
And I think that was it, unless you had any other questions or information for him.
I think we covered everything.
Okay. He says, well, yes, I mean, if you have any trouble going forward and you're just not able to figure it out, come let me know and I'll see what I can do. But for the moment, it seems like you have things covered, and I think you're more than capable of handling it by yourselves. And we'll stay here to make sure that the town is protected should those cultists decide to come and attack us while you're out. And he says,
oh God, that's ominous.
he says, he's well, I mean, you can never be too sure nowadays. I mean, the bandits, they would just attack people out on the road, but if this cult really is what it is, then who's to say what their plan is? So hopefully you nip that in the bud before any of it becomes a problem. But he says, feel free to continue doing whatever you need to do around town, and come back to me in the morning and we'll discuss your training.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Sounds great.
And now I will ask, were Kara and Jessina coming here to meet after they spoke with their mentors, or were you all going to meet at some central area?
We're coming back here to meet, and like we expected that they're going to talk to the wizards first, so we were just going to come back and find out what's going on, basically, and catch up with them before we all join back up and head to the inn for the night.
Okay, then at some point during that
I
conversation,
did AFK for a minute. I auto follow.
Okay.
no problem. At some point during that conversation, towards the end of it, where everything's already been resolved, we'll cut to Kara and Jessina, who have met up and are heading towards the tower. You see Stoner McBlazed in the red flyer wagon, and the door of the tower is shut.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Kara? Should we knock on the door? It looks like they must be in the tower because I see the elemental out here. So, do you want to knock on the door and join them inside, or do you want to just wait out here until they're done?
We can join them inside. I mean, we know Burn's a pretty nice and chill dude, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Okay.
I mean, his name is Burn, and the only thing he should be burning is that grass.
Oh, yeah, that blaze it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go up and knock on the door.
Okay. Burn.
Oh,
what?
Sorry. I'm gonna leave Tokage right out here, and I'm going to tell him to stay.
He slurps out a foot-long tongue and slurps his eyeball and looks at you and just kind of curls up on the ground. But he stares towards the worker camp and is like, you know how like a cat will like follow a bug that's flying around the room. He's like looking at the
Mm.
people in the town, like the chickens and stuff, like running around. And he's like, his head's darting around, following them, but he's laying down. He's not chasing anything. He's just kind of eyeing them out, and they're kind of looking at him, kind of creeped out. Some people go into their huts and shut the tents.
Okay, just stay here and be good, and then we'll get you some snackies after this, all right? All right. Now I want to go in with Jacina.
All right, you both climb up and knock at the door, and Burn says, "Ah, who might that be? Hopefully, it's your friends coming to meet up with you." And
It's
he
the
opens the door
cultists.
himself. He opens the door himself, and he says, he sees Justina and Car, and he says, "Ah, yes, we've been expecting you. Please come on in and join your friends." And he catches you up very quickly on what they've already discussed, in case either one of you wanted to add anything that was omitted, which I don't believe so.
Nah.
And he says, "And I was just telling your friends that not to worry about anything else today. Everything seems to be under control. Take your time and rest here and do what you need to do. And when you're ready to set out again, come back and let me know, and I'll see you off."
All
But
right. You said we could rest here in your luxury ass tower?
um,
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
mean,
so kind of you.
I do have some
Sleep
available
over with
quarters,
Fern.
but I could not certainly fit all of you.
Uh,
If one or two of you, I mean, just Pantok and Toddy, I will probably be putting up here so that we can make sure to get the most out of our training. I don't have room for all four of you, unfortunately, but surely you can find other accommodations in town.
Oh, that's fine.
yeah,
We'll
we
stay
already
in the
have a
inn.
place in the end. Yeah.
He says, "Oh, good, perfect." So yes, if you need anything else from me, let me know. Otherwise, I suppose then we are adjourned here, and you are free to go until tomorrow.
Awesome.
He
Ugh.
says, "Bless you." I don't say that because I don't say that, but he says that.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
now I think we're gonna go ahead and head back to the inn and sleep for the night, and then split up and do our respective trainings.
All right. So you all head to the inn, and oh, good. Welcome back. Before we continue, just very briefly, I mentioned this in the chat, but I just wanted to make sure everyone heard it. The dagger that you found, Kara.
Yes.
I messed something up just lore wise because I forgot we're in Greyhawk, not Forgotten Realms. The
Oh,
deck.
I think saw this in the group, but please
You probably
remind
did.
me.
Yeah, I'm just repeating it here for consistency. The halfling, Pimhorn Fleetfoot, he mentioned, he kept saying about how his god wouldn't let it happen. Oh, my blah 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 blah. Whatever name I was saying, he actually said Norebo was who he was saying. He was like, "Oh, Norebo wouldn't let that happen." Ah, well, it must be Norebo's blessing. And the symbol on the dagger and on the coin that you stole from him um, was not a long-haired lady. It was a pair of 8-sided dice. So the symbol still matches between the dagger and the coin, and the name he was using was Narebo. That's all the information that changed. I just had to update that. Sheesh.
Ping.
But yes, so you arrive back at the inn. And are you going into you're going through into your room, or we're not going to role play tavern stuff, but anyone getting a drink or food or anything?
Hmm. Uh, Kara is not gonna get anything for tonight, and Tokage, I assume he's probably outside of the den, unless there's pets allowed in this inn. Um,
Yeah, you guys do have
then
to kind of decide what to do with both pets. So
I was going to say Takage is big enough that he probably counts more as like a, stable him up type of animal.
they do
maybe
have a stable. There's horses over here.
horses over here.
Yeah, there's like a stable. It's like covered, and there's like walls and stable doors and things like that. You probably wouldn't want to just walk him in there and tie him up, but there is a stable.
And here's where we flash back to an earlier conversation. Nay.
Nay. Should probably ask the innkeeper before like having Tokage just be there, because lizards are a little bit different from horses. So Kara's gonna go inside and go up to the innkeeper. Well, I don't remember his name besides the innkeeper. And ask about the horses outside, if they allow any other sort of mount or animal to be like leashed up there.
He says, "Oh, certainly, yes, of course. We've got the stables out there, and we've got plenty of vacancy. Um, whatever you need stabled, we're more than happy to take in for you. Let me see what the prices are, if at all. I didn't expect you guys to have them out at this point, so I didn't really read about stables. I was like, yeah, there's stables."
With us by now, you should learn to expect the unexpected and not expect us to do what we're supposed to do.
True.
You have gotten an invitation from a level 50 vampire god. Okay, we go to his castle. What?
Hey, I mean, that ended up working out.
It wasn't
Funny.
confusing. I was like, everything here is really hard.
Okay, sorry. Kara's gonna go back out, and Tokage, where are you? There you are. Big boy. Come hither. Kara wants to lead Tokage over to one of these empty and vacant stalls, I think they're called. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the stables, and in the stables, there's like you enter the stables, and then there's stalls within the stables. So as you enter, there's a stable hand there, ready to greet you, and he sees you walk in, and he says, "Ah, welcome. I don't recognize you, so I'm assuming you're dropping off and not picking up."
Yep.
He says, "Great. Well, if you'll just bring in your mount, then I will get it all set up with a stable. And the price is, I'm gonna say X for right now. They definitely have stables because it's mentioned several places, but it doesn't actually say anything about the stables, so it's
Alright.
probably not expensive. But he says it's X per night, or it comes free with a room if you've already paid for one."
Oh, we've already paid for one. How am I supposed to prove that?
He says, "Oh, I'll check with the innkeeper. Just jot down your name, and I'll take care of that. We have
Right.
really good intercommunication."
Wow, you're a classist. What if we can't write?
Then we accept thumbprints, nose prints,
Nose print.
and any other
What
print
about
you
butt
get
prints?
invented. He says any print, whatever print. He says whatever you signed with when you got the room, is what we'll use to verify it. So whatever
Okay.
that was.
Is my hold on, let me go get him real quick. I'll be right back.
He says, "Okay."
Come on, Tokage. Tokage.
He comes in and follows you in, and the guy is looking up expecting a horse like twice your height, and he looks down and sees a lizard which is about the same height as you but just like long, and he looks and he goes, "Oh," and he puts down a harness that he had picked up, and he picks up a one that's like twice its size and like super wide, and he's like lugging it over with grunts of effort, and he says, "Just lead him into this cell here and I'll get him all set up." He's harness trained, right?
Not yet. We're still in the process of training him. I'm not sure how he'll react if you put a harness on him at the moment, but you can surely try.
He
We
says,
just got
"Oh,"
him not that long ago.
he says, "Well, I mean, I appreciate you giving me the heads up. I'll do my best, and I mean, I'm pretty good with animals, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue for me." And he tries to put the thing on him, and he pats his legs, and Tokage walks up to him, and he throws the harness over his head and slides it on, and hooks it up, and Tokage is just sitting there, and he's like scratching his head and stuff, and he's rubbing into him, and he's like,
Oh,
"Ah, see, not a problem at all." And he
yay.
hooks him up and leads him by the leash into a stall and opens a small cask and reaches in and gets a bunch of little dried bugs and spreads them in a cask. And Tokage starts munching down on the bugs. And he says, "All right, well, whenever you need to get him, don't worry, we'll keep him um, safe and fed in here. And whenever you're ready to go, just come by and pick him up."
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye, Tokage. I'll see you in the morning.
Tokage is totally ignoring you as he's chomping down on his bugs.
I know he heard me, so I'm
Oh, yeah.
gonna go back inside and regroup with the rest of the party and say Tokage has been successfully stabled. Let's go.
And what are we doing with the moving fireplace?
Oh yeah. Not my fireplace. You guys have to deal with your fireplace.
Oh yeah,
I still
that's
say
right.
at this point I still say at this point we cover him in mud and then put the clothes on him and try and pass him off as the Earth Elemental, being passed off as a small child.
We could maybe bring him to our room. I don't know if there's a safe place to keep him outside.
I don't know. I'm gonna go to the bar and get drunk, and not my problem.
Oh God.
My character's gonna go to the bar and get drunk. It
Shit.
sounds like I'm gonna be drunk and pass out before you decide what to do with them too.
Well, we either leave him outside, which I really don't want to leave him outside all night, or we bring him up to our room. Okay, if I put a blanket over him, does that like catch on fire?
He can
Not if
suppress.
I make the blanket and I make it out of asbestos.
Yeah. So he can suppress the flames, but not like significantly enough to probably stop a blanket from burning. If it was a fire-resistant blanket like asbestos or stone wool or something, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But he's still hot to the touch even when you have him suppress his flames. So for a short period of time, probably. But for like if you had like a drenched blanket and tossed it over him, it'd probably be fine for a short period of time. But like,
Do the rooms have fireplaces?
The rooms? I don't believe so.
Yeah, so if they have fireplaces, we could easily get him upstairs, and then he could just stay in the fireplace. But
so the shared room that you guys are staying in does have a fireplace, and some of the other rooms do have fireplaces, but I don't believe your private room does. Let me see.
Yeah, see, I don't have that map screenshotted right now.
Like
or if I do, I don't know where I put it.
Hold on, let me see. 2 single beds and a standard chest.
See, it looks like the main room has one, and maybe one of the rooms upstairs does, just from this map. But I mean, I don't know. Because I could totally make a blanket to cover him with to get him upstairs. It's just where is he going to sit all night? Fucking fire elemental. I'm going to summon a fire elemental. Right before we go back to town.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of the dungeon. Yeah, I'm definitely noticing the drawbacks to the fire elemental.
Yeah. He's really strong and he's great, but there's drawbacks. There are fireplaces in here if you want to try to ask the patrons, but the individual rooms do not, other than the large shared dormitory room. Actually, it looks like the actual fireplaces are on the ground level. And the heat just goes up for like carbon monoxide poisoning and stuff like that. The heat and the carbon monoxide go up into the rooms. I'm sure they vent out the ceiling too.
We could just put him in the main fireplace, and if anybody asks, we could be like, "Oh, it's like that magical communication fireplace from Harry Potter."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because that's not going to look elemental culty at all.
Okay. Pandoc's gonna just try to bring him inside.
Okay. You bring him inside. You're rolling the cart in. and you're fine for a little bit. And one of the barmaids passes by and says, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. No open flames in the bar. You know, alcohol and things like that. Tapestries, all flammable."
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I'm just heading straight up to my room with it. No problem.
she says, "Yeah, we can't let open flames in. I mean, I can keep it in the kitchen for you if you'd like, where it's not going to be a fire hazard, but it can't go upstairs or
Sure.
stay in the main
Let's
room."
keep it in the kitchen. This is an important fire. I brought it from my home village, and we have a tradition
It's
there
magical.
where the first oh, it's magical.
She says, yeah, don't worry. I mean, you know, I understand people got their business. I'm not going to question it. I just can't have fires in the open room. So don't worry. Just come and get it when you need it, and we'll keep it in the kitchen behind the doors. So
I was gonna say it's like the Olympic
St-
torch. It's like the campfire
yeah,
that was lit when I first went on my journeys, and so I have to bring it with for luck.
Stoner sits sad and alone in dark all night.
that's not the
No.
dark. He makes stone light.
Better than being
And
extinguished.
Yeah, yeah, or sent back. So yeah, she drags the wagon into the thing. How long does that conjuration last?
It forever.
I'm not. Let me look. I can't remember on the conjuration. I think that it pretty much lasts as long as I'm there, but
Oh,
I
the
wonder-
conjuration. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the elemental.
Oh yeah, no, the red flyer wagon. It disappears after 1 hour. So I'm assuming you guys could have been recasting it this whole time, but if you're putting it in the kitchen and then leaving, it will
yeah, it's going to
disappear
go
after
away.
1
It's going to disappear sooner than that because I'm going to get smash face drunk.
hour. So you may want to inform her what's going on or something like that. Otherwise, she might be surprised when the wagon goes away. Just as a heads up to you guys, she accepts it. She doesn't care, but
Okay. Just tell her about the wagon.
It might be time for Stoner McStoney to go away.
No, it's a whole spell slot
and a gem.
That's about to
and
be
a
renewed.
gem and a gem.
Oh, and a gem.
Damn.
See, that's EverQuest terms that I could relate to.
Oh, that reminds me,
Gee,
just real
I
quick.
wonder where EverQuest got the summoning for mage elemental pets from.
I made up the spell, so probably not D&D.
Oh, well, you had me convinced. I
Kara,
thought it was real.
on your
Yes?
inventory, I was just checking people's inventories for other reasons, and I noticed you still have both of those gems written down that you sold. If you can go ahead and get those off of there.
Yep.
Nice try.
Bye-bye.
Nice trick.
Hey, I wasn't trying to trying to be suspicious. I already knew those gems have been sold. And it's not like I could bullshit you guys.
Yeah.
Be like, hey
Huh.
guys, I totally have 2 more gems. Wow, I wonder how those got there.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
How many times have we been like, what's this? I don't know. When did you get that? I don't know. Do you really have that? I don't know. Did you sell that? I don't know. How many times did that happen?
It's more to prevent that than actually thinking you did anything, but
Yeah,
we
our-
can go through and clean that up later. I just saw that before, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to mention that.
Speaking of cleaning it up later, how much do I spend getting drunk enough to wake up feeling like I probably made some bad decisions I don't remember?
Well, do you have a taste for expensive stuff, or are you okay with just
I-
drinking the cheap stuff?
I am good with drinking cheap stuff right now. I do not have it because I can make it taste like anything.
Then you have spent a total of 1 gold on various things. If you mark that off your list, and you are pissed off your face drunk.
All right.
FYI, on a side, there is a whole system in first edition for determining intoxication, effects of intoxication, etc., etc.
Oh, of course there is.
First edition is fucking wild.
Wow, holy shit.
But yeah, so you're drunk. You've only spent 1 gold. You're plastered, and whenever you're ready to go up to your room, you can. What were you doing with Stoner? Were you just gonna let her figure it out with the wagon?
Okay. Well, I tell her that I wish I knew if it was a bad idea to tell them that it's
Make an insight check.
Okay, fine. Because, I can't untell them. I'm not going to be like, Well, after they freak out, be like, I was just kidding, actually. JK, unless. Okay, I'm rolling. Okay, Pantok has
But for roleplay purposes, I make that all the stuff I drink taste like
plus
really
2,
good stuff.
so 13.
Okay, with a
I
13,
prestidigitated it.
yeah, of course. It seems like she doesn't seem to be too bothered by the elemental or by the whole I have a fire in a wagon, can you keep it burning for me? So you think she probably wouldn't really mind too much, but you probably don't want to straight up tell her it's an elemental. You might just say something like the wagon is a conjuration, so you might want to move the fire to another safe area. You might want to kind of beat around the bush, but just inform her the wagon, a magical wagon, is not an out of place thing. I might not go so far as to tell her it's an elemental though.
Okay, so I'll just say, hey, so that fire has a magical source, and so does the wagon, and the wagon is totally going to disappear in a little bit, but the fire won't, so I'll be back to retrieve it tomorrow.
As I'm crawling up the steps, I'm like, slosh drunk, and I'm like, so if you have like a pot to put it in.
Yeah, she says, "Oh, no worries. I can just put it I'll put it on some stone tiles to make sure that when the wagon disappears, then it won't hurt anything. Or if you'd like, I can move it straight into one of the furnaces, so it'll definitely be safe there. But I think it'll be fine either way. The kitchen's pretty fire safe. It's got like dirt floors and stuff.
Good. Well, I'll definitely be back to pick it up before in the morning before we leave."
She says, "Okay, no problem." So you've now got both of your pets stabled, and Toddy is plastered. Jacina wasn't doing anything other than going straight to the room, right?
Nope. She's gonna get some food and drink and sustenance that's necessary, and then head off to the room.
Okay. Have Jacina make a perception check, since
Okay.
she's not really distracted by anything else going on.
Okay, perception, Jacina. And she has a plus 6. So that is, an 18. So 24.
Okay. In the inn, you see who doesn't seem to notice you. He's just kind of sitting off in a corner by himself. You see Elmo sitting in a corner having an ale, and Narfalin is also actually in here at the moment, sitting off at a table by himself, and he's eating some kind of a food, and seems to notice you guys come in, but doesn't bother you.
Didn't we have some reason to follow up with the gnome guy? I can't remember.
He offered to join you. He said he'd be more than happy to join you guys after he's had a chance to recover. He says he's a pretty capable adventurer himself, and he'd be happy to join you for an equal share of the loot, if you'll have him. He's more offering to. He's like, hey, since you guys saved me, I'll join you. But he wants to get something out of it.
Not capable enough to avoid getting eaten by an ogre, apparently.
Maybe something to consider.
Okay. So, do we know if he has a class? Do we know if he has any skills or abilities, or if he's just a gnome?
You've not figured or asked him any of
that. Well, Jacina will go talk to him. So she walks over to Nerfallen and fuck, you just said his name.
Narfallen, you said it.
Oh, I was going to say
call him Narf for
the
sure.
other guy.
Narf.
Well, anyway.
Oh, Elmo?
Yeah, Elmo. She walks over to Narf and Elmo and says, "Oh, hey guys, we're boarding up for the night, and then we have some training to do for a few days. But after that, we're planning on heading back to that dungeon, and we think we found something. I can't really talk about it out loud, but we got some information that we left some serious stones unturned, and there might be some dark secrets that we're going to go check out. Would either one of you be interested in joining us?"
They're separate across the tavern. Were you talking to each one of
them
at a time? Saying
I just say it to Narfallen. I tell him that we're going back and ask if he's interested in joining us.
He's chewing his food. He's got a big mouthful of food, so he finishes swallowing and takes a swig of beer and says, Yeah. I mean, when are you planning on leaving? I'm still. I mean, he's got like bruises and cuts and stuff all over him. He looks like he's been bandaged up pretty well. He says, "I'm still kind of, you know, unwinding after that whole ordeal, but I mean, I did tell you I'd join you. When are you planning on leaving?
How many days did our trainers say it was going to take?
Training at this level is 3 days
Okay.
with trainers.
Our training should be finished up in about 3 days, so we were planning on heading off after that. We didn't want to wait too long before we head back to the spot. Do you think
He,
that's enough time for you to heal up?
he says, "Oh, sure, yeah, I'll be great by then. Yeah, just come and get me. I'm staying here in room." He tells you the room number, but I don't feel like looking up which room he would be staying in. He
Broken
says
bones
he's
and infections just heal up in 3 days.
yeah, it's fifth edition. He says he's staying up in the room. He does say
Overnight.
he says he plans on going to the church tomorrow morning to get some treatment for the worst conditions that he has, and he says just come and let him know he's staying in the room number, and he'd be happy to join you if you'll have him. He says he'll try not to be too much of a burden, but he's looking forward to sharing the treasure with you.
Cool. Yeah, we can. So you won't charge a fee if you just share the treasure? Then you'll be willing to come with and help us?
He says, "Oh yeah, I mean, I'm happy to. I mean, I'm not going to charge you a fee. I'm not selling anything. I'm just happy to be one of the gang, But
Elmo wanted a fee.
And no ridiculous hunting down equipment for
Elmo
you.
didn't want a fee. He wanted to be armed. He says, well,
No, but to
it
go
would be
back
nice.
again. Oh, I guess she just wanted to share in the treasure too, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he also just wants a share. Basically, the difference between a fee and a share is a fee is like a flat rate, and a share is like depending. So if you come back with nothing, they don't get anything either. But it's kind of like a risk reward thing. He says he seems to have misplaced his equipment, and so he does have a backup dagger stashed in town that he's going to get that he hasn't gotten to yet. He wouldn't mind some armor if you guys had any like extra leather armor laying around, but
I actually think I have some. Although I'm not there for the conversation, so ignore that.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
he
we'll
says,
check in a few days. But hey, we're just wondering. So, do you have any kind of like skills? Are you trained in any sort of profession or anything?
he says, well, we can discuss that later. I'll tell you what my skills are later on. But I was on a job when you found me, so I've got some skills to pay the bills.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I think we'll be interested. I need to talk to my party, but we'll check back in a few days when we're getting ready to head out, and we'll let you know if we're interested in taking you with.
He says, "Okay, cool. Just let me know." He says, "No pressure or anything. I'm just offering. I'd like to be able to help you out if I can, like you helped me."
Okay. Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Okay. He goes
Okay.
back to eating.
Justine is gonna head to her room, and when her party joins, she's just gonna catch up with and let them know what about Norfallen and all that. So whenever we get to that.
Okay. That all happens. If you guys wanted to discuss anything among your party, you can, but I'm assuming everyone's pretty much on the same page. So let me know when you're ready to sleep for the night, and then we'll process the rest, and we can continue with the next day.
So do you guys want to take Narf on the next trip, or do you want to take Elmo? Elmo really helped out, and Pantog at least would have died without him. If we want to tank, we could take him again. But I'm kind of interested on seeing what that gnome can do,
Why not take both?
because then we'll have to split with 2 extra shares of the treasure
Yeah, that's true.
and XP.
No, anything but the XP, please. Okay, we could probably keep talking to him, figure out what he can do and stuff. I'm talking about, this dude.
Narf.
I,
Narf.
I don't remember how to do the thing. There.
Oh yeah.
So, like, what
But-
if he's like a rogue? Do you want to not take him because you already can do roguey things, or like?
Yeah, pretty much.
Having
And
a tank is
also,
kind of useful.
yeah, kinda useful. I think you mean really fucking useful.
Pantok would
Um,
probably be re-rolling a new character if we hadn't had Elmo.
I'm leaning more towards Elmo in all honesty. Tanky boy,
I'll-
it's nice.
And I'm not actually here for this conversation because my character is passed out, But I'm just saying that gnome is kind of creepy on me.
Okay,
Fair
but
enough.
is there anything the gnome could do that you would be interested in taking him? Like, are you off on the gnome, or do you just not want him if he's a rogue?
Were you talking to me about that?
You and Zach.
I
Technically,
like.
Toddy is passed out, but I'm asking Zach anyway.
Yes, it's like there's you know what I would say if I was conscious, and it's that I enjoy having somebody in metal armor up front.
Yeah. Okay. In all honesty, I don't particularly care what Narfallen can do. That much to like not invite Elmo this time because Tanky boy, Tanky woo,
Yeah,
Tanky cool, you know?
I mean, we wouldn't even be having a discussion if it was a wizard because we already have
Yep,
wizards. We
pretty
wouldn't
That's a
much.
good
be
point.
it if we wouldn't say if it was a druid, we'd be like, yeah, we already have a rogue. We do not have anybody who's really happy to stand up front and take the hits.
Okay. Okay, well then we'll check in with Elmo in a few days.
Just pretend it's an EverQuest group, and we're looking for one more to fill the role. And right now
Yeah.
we have a druid, a rogue,
Yeah.
and two wizards.
Does
And we
Elmo
have
hang
another
out?
rogue, and we have Bendikar looking for group.
Does he hang out here so that we can get him in 3 days, or do we need to let him know ahead of time?
He told you he'd be happy to go on any adventures. He says he lives in town. You know where he lives. He lives
Okay.
down at the house, and he says he basically spends his time at the bar or the house. So it's pretty easy to find him now that you know him.
Okay, yeah, because I'm pretty sure that for like old school D&D, basically the inn is where you recruit party members.
Yeah.
So that's basically as we meet people, have them in our stash where we can bring them into our party if we want to.
Although the one bonus is we could always just throw him back in that dungeon and lock it up, and we're done. Then we don't have to split the XP or the
Give him back to the ogre like we promised.
No, we kill the ogre. We just lock him up to tie his slow, horrible death.
Or-
Locked in that room all alone.
Oh, like Andrew Tate. Or we could eat him. If it's in the dungeon, no one will know, and we'll just be like, "Oh yeah, I guess the ogre must have eaten him. That's fucked up."
Speaking of that, I
Yeah.
need to start keeping track of my rations because I have not up to this point.
And you guys, they're pretty cheap. You guys restock on them when you're in town. So until it becomes a problem, I'm not keeping track of them either.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're done. However, there is one item that I decided that Justina wants to purchase in town before she goes out.
Okay.
So, do you want to do that or?
Yeah. What's the item?
She wants to buy 25 gold worth of gem inlaid sticks that she can use to cast the augury spell.
1 second.
It's an optional spell that they added for druid, so please let her have augury. It used to be
Okay,
cleric
so
only.
it sounds like that's something that Jaru would probably be able to supply for you, that he would sell you at cost.
Oh, good. Okay.
He would have, because it's specially marked sticks, bones, or similar tokens worth at least 25 gold. So it's like tossing bones or willow sticks or whatever like that, as long as they're marked to allow divination. So yeah, he'll probably be able to supply you with that.
Okay, great. I'm gonna borrow the money from Pantok, so now he has 76 gold, down from 101.
Might I recommend, to be safe, you go to every single fucking store in town and ask them and find out what their price is.
No, because I know
There's
I know how
precedent.
I know how much they cost. I'd like to buy 25 gold worth of gem inlaid sticks, please. Okay, that'll be 50 gold.
Yeah, exactly.
How much is the penny candy? Surprisingly expensive.
Is that a Simpsons reference?
Yeah. I'd like $5 for the gas, please. $10.95. The gas is so expensive that if $5 worth of gas costs more than $5. It doesn't even say how many gallons. He just said $5
Yeah,
worth.
yeah. $5 worth, and then it costs. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh my
Oh.
god, completely off subject, but I have to mention this. Did you see how Marjorie Taylor Greene referenced the 99 Balloons song as a call to war because of the Chinese balloon?
That's the opposite of what the song is saying.
The exact opposite.
No, but I've been singing that song a lot. I was singing that song, and then I realized that that's actually what the song is about. Is that like some kid releases a bunch of balloons, and some countries mistakenly think that it's a beginning of a war, and they just blow each other up for no good reason.
Yeah, she referenced the song very directly as a call to arms because of the Chinese balloon.
Did you guys hear that there were 3 Chinese balloons that flew over the United States
Yes.
when Trump was president, and he didn't even know?
Yep.
Yep.
Haha.
Oh, I was wondering why. I'm like, how come rednecks haven't shot it down? And then I found out it's 70,000 feet in the
Yeah.
air, so it's literally impossible. A gun can't go anywhere close to that on the ground, much less going straight up in the air fighting against gravity.
Yeah.
I bet some of them tried, though. Makes
Yeah.
you wonder if any of those bullets came back down and hit anyone.
No, they definitely did. I think
I'm sure some airplanes were getting shot at too.
I think at least one guy, I saw some meme that looked real of some guy holding some rifle, and then he's like, oh, if I see that balloon, and they're like, can someone tell him his freedom stick only goes 650 feet on the ground?
Stick.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So I noted that down. So yeah, because I think Jacina's gonna take augury. That's a level 2 spell, and it's a ritual. So I don't have. I have to use up the prepared space, but I don't have to actually use up a slot when I cast it. At least once per day, it'll do something good.
It's good to have some ritual spells like that where you can not have to worry about casting them, so you still have access to them without spell slots. I think that's why I have augury and a couple other things.
Augury sweet. So I'm gonna actually swap out my spells now.
Were you doing that now, or are you going to do that later when you meet? Are you leaving the inn to go do that? Either one works. I'm just
yeah, I'm gonna do it the same day because that way I can get in a full day of training the next day and all that.
Okay, when you go back to see him, he's like, "Oh, come back so soon," and then you tell him, he's like, "Oh yes, I think I have just the thing," and he opens some boxes and he gathers some things and he goes, this set of it's some really really cool like carved wood runes or something, and he says this should suffice. Of course, they've been magically crafted and enchanted intricately, and unfortunately they do cost 25 gold, but I'm willing to sell them to you at cost. And you're like, okay, and he's like, okay, great. So you can mark down runic wooden runes, wooden runic runes.
Is it runes or is it sticks?
Do you want sticks?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Runes are pretty cool. Let's.
They're sticks carved with runes.
Fine. I did. I
like,
wrote down augury sticks.
There you go.
Hey, do you guys really want Goodberry? I have Healing Word. I was thinking about just dropping Goodberry.
But I like the idea of keeping one in my mouth during combat, so when I fall, there's a chance it'll pop.
I'm not
It's like a
outlawing that yet.
reverse cyanide pill.
Exactly.
Okay. If I dropped it, I could get Pass Without Trace, which allows us to move silently, or Long Strider, or Absorb Elements. I might not need Absorb Elements. Spike Growth. That's a level 2 spell.
I don't know. It's really hard to give up Goodberry.
Fine, I'll keep Goodberry.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I'm assuming that you demand that I keep Speak with Animals.
I don't. But,
Yes, for Tokage.
Okay, so I know we haven't technically done the night yet, but I'm just letting you know. Entangle, Flame Blade. I know I haven't done that yet. I'm just telling you my spells. Entangle, Flame Blade, Healing Word, Augury, Speak with Animals, Goodberry. It's
Okay.
not official, but I'm not casting any spells until then. So I'm not digging with any other spells. I just wanted to update that real quick because I got
Yeah,
the
you're
Augury
setting up
fixed.
you're setting up your spells for after you've leveled up and are going to be going out. So
Yep. I haven't even added my other new spell. I just changed those because I wanted to add Augury.
okay, yeah, I mean that's fine.
Okay. Anyway, so that's it. So now we're going to go long rest for the night, and then we'll each spend 3 days with our respective trainers.
Okay, and we'll basically skim over some of the things. I'll go over a couple of things real quick. First, when were you planning on meeting Narf to get the details? Did you want to like bring him up to your room, or are you going to go to his room and knock on the door?
You mean
When
Elmo?
are you? No, Narf. You were going to interrogate him and ask him his abilities, or did you not care about that? Did you decide not to?
Well, I mean, everyone was pretty much against it. Okay, you know what?
Well, it depends. I mean, but that's the thing. We're assuming he's a rogue. If he's a rogue, I'd rather not. We have a rogue.
Okay, let's bring him up.
But if he's somehow a leather-wearing warrior that's phenomenal,
let's bring him up to our room for the night. Not for the night, tonight, and
yes,
let's
please,
ask
not
him
for the
about
night. I'm already passed out and I don't trust him.
Yeah,
Although,
gnomes are
if I were to
small; they
wake up
could
the next
fit in
morning
all
at-
sorts of places.
But I also probably would not be able to tell the difference. I'd have no idea anything happened. Because he's a little guy.
So as you greet him and bring him back to your room, he says that, without going into too much detail, he says that, not me. He says he was on a scouting mission to check out the area and the ongoings around the moat house, similar to what he assumes you were doing. And he says, and then he got conked on the back of the head and captured and woke up in that cell. But as he describes his abilities to you, which he does, it does sound like he's basically a low-level rogue. But he's also a gnome, so he has forest gnome abilities, so he can cast minor illusion. He can speak with small beasts, with simple ideas using sounds and gestures, and he does have sneak attack. He does not seem like a particularly formidable party member, but if you were in need of someone sneaky, stealthy rogue, he would be good. You guys are trying to find secret doors, so it wouldn't be the worst idea to have 2 rogues, but if you only want to pick one of them, yeah, I mean, Elmo did save your butts quite often.
Quite often.
So it's up to you, but yes, he is a rogue. So all the things you were saying about if he's a rogue, yeah, he's a rogue.
Well, I'm just going to hold on to this leather armor for someone else.
Okay, so you guys are you want Elmo?
I would prefer Elmo, but I'm unconscious, so I don't really get a vote.
That's fine. Okay, so we thank him and we say that we'll keep him in mind, but we think that we really need someone that's willing to take a lot of hits for at least the next time we go.
He says, yeah, that's definitely not me, so no problem. Just let me know if you have any need of my skills.
Will do.
All right, so over the next 3 days, you all go back to your respective trainers and are trained. We can do the Elmo thing afterwards, but I want to go over a couple of things. First, yes, you all level up.
Yay!
However, question 1, I have these things in a list, so I'm going to go over them one at a time. Who has the dagger?
I think
Uh-oh.
that would be me. Wait.
Were you wanting to inspect it to figure out what's going on with it? I don't
yeah,
think anyone has actually
short rest.
Yeah.
Probably before you go to bed and find out it's cursed the hard way.
Let me see if it's on my sheet. Should be. Yes, it is.
Whether you want to investigate it or give it to someone else, to whatever you want to do, I'm just checking what is being done with that.
Hey, Pantog, this was your dagger originally, right?
Yeah.
Do you want it back? You could take a look at it. Like a really good look at it. The dagger seems weird to
Uh,
me.
I
It's
don't
kind
know.
of suspicious.
Toddy really seemed like they liked inspecting magic items, especially with their identify. So I was gonna let them do it.
I better not wake up
Toddy.
with it sticking out of my butt.
Okay.
You're awake
Um.
by this point. It's the next day. This is
Oh, it's the next day.
rounding
Okay.
up what happens in the next 3 days.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the dagger.
Okay. Are you casting a spell on it, or are you just inspecting it over a short rest?
I figured I'd do the ritual on it.
Okay. So you cast your
Whichever
identify
gives-
ritual.
Yeah, whichever gives me more information, or if they give me different information, I'm going to do both.
Generally, identify gives more information, but they're almost always the same information. Identify is just kind of more explicit, and short rest is kind of like you fiddle around with it to figure it out. So I would say identify would give
identify.
you more details. However, I will say this is not implying anything. This is just a generality. Identify does not identify curses. It specifically says that. Unless there's a specific item that says
Yeah, you need like detect
identifies a
curse or
curse.
something.
Yeah, that's just in general. I'm not implying this is. I'm just saying in general. It could be, could not be. I'm just saying. So yes, you identify it. It actually, I don't remember if you identified it before or just used detect magic on it, like way back when you got it.
We did detect magic on it because we had that spell up at the time, and I said
Yeah.
you should do it on the dagger.
Yeah, you detect magic on it, and it didn't ping as magical, so you just brushed it off, assumed it was treasure. Your identify ritual does turn up that it has magical properties, and it seems like the magical property that you can identify, the only magical property you can identify is that it's actually a +1 spell focus for arcane spells.
Oh shit!
So a creature who can cast.
Oh shit.
I'll say arcane spells because 6th edition has spells broken down like that, so I think that's the way it should be done. But I don't know how I'd quantify that. But in this case, it would be Pantok and Toddy, but not Jessina. But it's a +1 spell focus. It would add +1 to your saving throws and spell attacks, but not to damage. You attune to it just like normal, and as long as you're attuned to it, you can use it as a spell focus.
Pantok is mainly using magic missile, so I would say that Toddy, if you would like, you can take the spell focus.
I mean, I can, but
You don't? Do you not want it? Because Pantok will take it. It's just that his main attack. Yeah, he's been staying away from spell attacks. He does have chromatic orb, but he's usually not really memorizing that. He's more attacking with magic missile.
see, I do have a spell attack or two, but I mostly haven't used it very much. But I have
It's
two
also
spells.
saves. +1 to saves.
Yeah, your save DC goes up by 1.
But that wouldn't affect their, like, when I'm doing a save spell attack.
It makes your spell save DC 1 higher than it is.
Okay, and I use that a lot. So
Yes.
I would like to take this dagger, and I tell everybody about it.
Okay, so yeah, if they're
Okay.
willing to give it up to you, then you can have it and you can attune to it. Write on your character sheet. First, Kara, erase it, and then write
All right.
write gem inlaid dagger, or however else you want to refer to it. That's just a succinct way to put it. And then in parentheses, write +1 spell focus. And then we'll figure out a way to edit your sheet to make sure it calculates that in later. But for now, you have it, and you are able to attune to it during a short rest.
Yeah, Pantok says, "Oh, well, you know what, Toddy? I've been really using. Not really using spell attacks or saves." But he says that in an in-character way. So he's going to go ahead and let you keep it. I mean, he's not going to argue. He's not going to fight you for it.
Well, that would be an interesting fight.
I'm long resting and healing myself up. The only thing I haven't done is hit points for our level up, and I added my new spells too.
Okay. Yep. So you guys can go ahead and do all your level up stuff. That's not going to change. However, going down the list, Kara.
I have to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. Kara, Black
Yep.
Jay asks you about the lizard. We're not gonna do a roleplay conversation, but he asks you about the lizard and how you've been training it and stuff like that. And he offers, because he's a herdsman, so he knows like with animals, and he offers to help you. He offers to keep Tokage there while you're training. He looks disappointed that you don't bring him over, and he's like, "Oh, where's the lizard?"
What?
And he offers,
I didn't get the chance to say I
or,
brought him over.
or if you do bring him over, then he says, "Oh, good, I'm glad you brought the lizard." It doesn't
Of
matter.
course, I
We're
bring the lizard.
okay. We're
Whenever I
brushing.
go, I bring the
Okay,
lizard.
because it's only like 100 feet away, so I was just
But
assuming.
the
But
lizard.
um, however, whatever happens, he's happy you brought the lizard, and he offers to show you some techniques and help you train with him and bond with him and help getting him used to a harness and things like that.
Yay!
And
Of course, I'd love to learn tips and tricks so me and Tokage can get closer than ever before.
he says, good. It's always good to have a reliable companion um, that can help you in your travels. And he trains him and helps you train him. After the training is complete, after your 3 days of training is complete, Tokage is willing to tolerate a harness for pulling a cart, but you still haven't gotten him used to having a rider. So that's something you'll still have to work on with him. He's not working as a mount, but you can use him as a draft animal and just as a general companion. He will fight to defend himself, but you can't like control him in combat. He's just going to do his own thing. He probably will help defend you like a dog would, but he's not going to necessarily put himself in danger. So that's just an update on where he is with that.
Awesome! I'm glad to hear this. Oh my god, Tokage, you are a
Oh shit!
lizard.
What I
Oh
miss?
my god, Tokage,
Oh,
come here, Tokage.
uh, Black Jay just was helping mentor Kara on Tokage.
Sweet.
I said he is now willing to be harnessed and pull a cart, but is not quite willing to tolerate being mounted. And he's also not like he can't be
Same.
controlled in combat. He's just
Same.
gonna kind of like defend himself and act like a guard dog type of thing.
Okay, cool.
But
So we don't.
he will pull a cart though.
So we don't. So he will pull a cart. We don't have to worry about him running off, and we need to spend more time with him before he can actually like be a mount or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay! Gotta love Tokage. Oh man, he was just supposed to be some random lizard that we just move on and kill, but
Yep.
you know I love lizards, and I would never fucking do that to a little lizard.
You guys went to significant effort to make him not an experienced bucket, so that's the result.
Yeah!
Oh, go ahead.
Uh, I'm gonna roleplay this a little bit, but it's also like you're probably about to talk about it anyways. Just Kara also talks about his phantom bullshit, aka hearing I hear dead people, you know?
Hmm.
And he's looking for insight about it, how to control and harness this power curse he's been having his whole life.
So he's not super familiar with that kind of stuff, and he says you may need to look for someone with more experience than himself in the nature of the occult and magic and things like that. But he's more than happy to help show you how to harness those powers um, in pursuit of thievish goals. And so he helps you train those abilities to use them as you would as you gain them at level 3. So you don't just get them and then you're like, oh cool, I have these abilities now. He like helps show you how to use them, and that's what results in your 3rd level abilities.
Yippee!
And let's see, I think I have one more thing. He does a little bit of, because he says that he's like from your description and stuff like that, he says he's pretty sure there's another hidden door somewhere in that place. He says where there's one hidden door, there's another hidden door. and he gives you a little bit of
Giggity.
tips and tricks because he says any good rogue worth their salt should be able to locate a hidden door like it's nothing. Um, and he gives you some tricks and tips, things like, um, follow along a wall and tap on it with a sap at random intervals,
Ooh.
and the wall might sound different. He says, check for drafts. He says you could spread a fine layer of powder like flour or something like that on the ground, and if there's any drafts underneath a wall that shouldn't be there, that might help to detect a crack in a secret door. He says, um, if there's a if you plot out the room in your mind and there's a space where there shouldn't be, that could be an indication. So he gives you a bunch of tips on how to locate secret doors that you might not have otherwise thought of, either in character or in person. Nothing specific.
Mhm.
That's just at the moment. That's just a Chekhov's gun for things to come. So
I'm
later I can remind you about things that you might not have thought of.
cool. I'm writing some of this down
Yeah,
just
yeah,
as like a general reminder for myself. Hey,
yeah.
if you wanna find doors, this is how. All right.
It's basically that's how people would. I mean, other than just like rolling a check, that's how people would have done things like find secret doors back in the day. Is they describe what they're doing to find them, rather than just saying I look for doors. They would say
Mhm.
I feel along the wall for any cracks, and then Gary Gygax would say, okay, make a wisdom check to locate it, and then yeah.
Yeah, so when
Um,
we go back to the dungeon, don't forget that there in the torture room there was a draft, but I didn't find anything.
Oh
I,
yeah.
Cough,
I
cough.
will say that draft was like all around you. There wasn't one specific spot for it. That was more just like the aging building itself that was kind of settling in places, had cracks that led up to the surface, but it was all around. There wasn't one specific area where you found that. It was
Okay.
like a whole half of the dungeon was just drafty. Dungeons get drafty even though they're underground because they're not built well. There's cracks and stuff. So I will just say that in case I wasn't clear back at the time. It was not like this wall has a draft.
No, you said that, but I figured with this conversation now that it was just me not rolling high enough or something.
Yeah, you rolled pretty high. But also like that could also be an indication maybe that room that won't work in, because if you try and lay flour, then all the drafts are going to be blowing around. And it's not going to help you at all. So yeah, things like that. I think that was it for that. Oh, one more thing. So you guys train day one. You wake up, leave the inn, you go to your trainers. Day one, you all train. He gives you these tips. For the spellcasters, he shows you spells. He helps Toddy. He helps Toddy work on the clarity spell. He's surprised that you've come up with all that yourself, and he helps you work out the formulas and tweak it to get it working. And you get the clarity spell functioning. And he's like, "Oh, this is actually really cool. I might just use this formula for myself."
And
And
I'm like, no, not unless you pay me for it, because that's how royalties work. Yeah, it's like it's like the happy birthday song.
he says, "Well, I certainly wouldn't steal it, but the idea behind it, I would change it just enough so it's technically not breaking copyright."
The birthday song has fallen into public domain now, and that's why restaurants can sing it.
Oh,
Fuck
nice.
yeah.
I would
Hee.
never have noticed that.
Yeah, they used to all
So
have their own stupid custom songs, but now they
yeah.
just sing Happy Birthday, and it's because sometime in the last decade or two, the 70 years that from when the teacher copyrighted the song or whatever bullshit has elapsed, so now they can just sing it. But
That's kinda boring.
Mickey Mouse just keeps getting renewed
Yeah.
because copyright doesn't apply to him. I want to be able to write my legal Mickey Mouse fanfic.
Oh, you can still
Legal.
do that.
You don't want to
You
know
want
about never mind.
you want to be able to profit off your Mickey Mouse fanfic.
Yeah. That's right.
Um,
Profit off it. I don't have Mickey Mouse fanfic, but I would do that. Everyone would. It'd be like when Flaming Moe, when Homer gave up
Yeah.
the secret ingredient was cough syrup and it was all over the place. Did you know you really cannot copyright a drink? That's actually a real thing when they say that in the episode, and the legal case that Lionel Hutz cites is actually that's why he says, "Did you know these books behind me actually have really interesting information? They're not just for decoration." Yeah, that's the thing because you cannot copyright a process. So a recipe, including a drink recipe, is a process. You can copyright the words that you wrote down for the recipe, but if you want to use the same recipe as Mrs. Fields and call them Mr. Nick's cookies, they cannot sue you for using the exact same recipe
Yeah,
because it's a process.
That's why manufacturers of like food stuff are so secretive about the KFC's secret recipe, the Dr. Pepper ingredients, because once it's out there, it's literally anyone can make it.
And also, I realized watching the Flaming Mo episode recently that The Simpsons invented lean.
Hmm?
You know what lean is,
What?
right? You know what lean is, right?
Hello, lean. Yes,
No?
of course I know what lean is. How did the Simpsons invent lean? I'm curious now. It's a Gen Z thing. You wouldn't get it, Jake.
I'm Googling lean Gen Z.
You don't know what
Oh,
lean is? Okay, lean is the most popular drug now, and basically they take the 90s cough syrup that is basically a form of codeine.
Oh, purple drank.
Oh, okay. Oh, purple drank. Well,
No, purple drank. I didn't know it was. I didn't know it had another name.
yeah, well, it has a whole bunch of names, syrup and all this other shit, but yeah, I thought lean was kind of like it's like, oh, cocaine. Oh, I only know it as nose clams.
Yeah.
Nose clams. Yeah, because that was in the 90s when they still made that cough syrup. So literally that's what Homer did is he took that same dextromorphan or I don't know, whichever one it is that's really hard to get now because it's illegal or whatever, but it was back then. So literally Homer took that and poured it into his alcohol and it was so popular and everyone wanted it. That's what people are drinking now, except they're not usually mixing it with alcohol. They mix it with like Sprite and Jolly Ranchers or whatever bullcrap they do. But that's what they do. Oh my god, when I first learned of that, it made me so sick. I'm like, just take codeine or hydrocodone. Like there's all kinds of opiates that you can do. Like why would you want to drink a glass of cough syrup that's so disgusting. That's what people used to do because they couldn't get their hands on anything else. But you've got like rappers that are going out and spending tens of thousands of dollars to buy this discontinued cough syrup so that they can drink it. It's like just crush up pills in your ice cream. Like that's so weird.
At that point, because like you said, it used to be a thing. So now at this point, it's not so much the thing itself; it's like the nostalgia slash pride of it. It's like, oh yeah, purple drink.
Yeah, it's just become like a culture thing. It would be like if they banned Benadryl because too many people were tripping off of it.
It's banned in Japan.
And then, well, yeah, so in 20 years it'll be banned and people will be getting a hold of it so they can have Shadow Hatman drinks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see the Hatman.
Wait,
you guys know the Hatman?
Okay, but other people have to take drugs to see the Hatman.
Calling Benadryl drugs is really generous. I've never seen a Hatman. That's something I've heard recently. Before that, I heard Shadow Men whispering to you. The most Benadryl I've ever taken at once is 6 pills because I forgot I already took 3 and took another 3. And within 20 minutes, and I got really scared. I'm like, oh no, am I going to overdose on Benadryl? And then I Googled it and found out people are just downing dozens just for fun. And I'm like, no, I'm good with 6. But oh man, I slept really freaking hard.
So, yeah, you guys are we're pretty much done with Kara. However, your first day of training goes well. The second day of training, you wake up, and when you wake up, you just don't really have that pep in your step. You're a little bit sluggish, and as you start to wake up, you're nauseous, and you're in like a cold sweat, and your stomach is turning, and you're just not feeling hot, and Black Jay is like, are you okay? Do you need to like go see a doctor or something? You don't look too good.
What did I don't remember drinking the other day. Why am I feeling so sick?
He says, "Yeah, I mean, we just did our regular training. Nothing crazy was going on, but I mean, if you think you're feeling up to it, we can still train today and hope maybe you'll feel better in the morning.
Uh,
Worst case, if it starts to get really bad, the church across the street, they're right there. We'll have them check you out. But I mean, it looks like it's probably just like a stomach bug, probably something you ate."
you're probably right. Let's just keep going. I don't want to stop now.
He says, "All right, well, if you feel up to it, and your next day of training goes the same. It's not slowed down or anything. You are still feeling kind of crap by the end of the day.
Rip.
So when you go to sleep, please give me a Constitution saving throw."
Okay. Okay. There is my dice. Here we go. Budoink. Please don't roll off the edge. That is a 14.
All right, you wake up in the morning and you're still feeling a little bit under the weather, just like the after effects. But you don't wake up in a cold sweat. Your stomach's feeling better, and Black Jay notices and he goes, "Oh, good. Looks like you're feeling better. Well, let's crack on with the last day of training." And you do, and you finish your level up, and you're good. You're leveled up.
Maybe all that sickness was from the spirits.
You might want to go to the church.
Well,
I might
Jacina,
want to go to the church, but
But
Kara's
what if that
feeling
undoes all
okay.
your training?
Jacina, the third day of training, you go through your training process. Everything is great. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We need to cut back to Kara.
Yes.
Black Jay gives you a tome of a dusty old tome that he pulls out from a shelf, and it's an unlabeled black tome. And he says, "Let me see if I can find where I wrote it." He says, "I wanted to give this to you. I don't really need it anymore. I haven't used it in a long time. But I feel like you can be trusted to use it honestly and only when necessary." And he hands it to you, and it's a dusty black tome, but he kind of wipes it off and gives it to you.
Ooh. Kara takes it and kind of like looks into it.
You
Like,
flip through the pages and you see a bunch of diagrams of different plants and their different component parts and
oh,
different mixtures of them and experiments, and it looks like it's a poison making manual, but it's all written like in ciphertext, like in code. But you can tell that it is talking about poison making.
so it's written in thieves' cant for the most
Basically,
part.
yeah, like if someone else found it, they'd be like, "Wow, this book is weird and stupid." But for you, you can kind of pick out some of the recipes. So as you study that over time, you'll eventually be able to figure out um, some poison making recipes um, that you can use. He says most of the stuff in there should be like accurate, but of course, anything you make, you might want to test before you actually try and use it, just to make sure it does what you expect it to do.
This is perfect. Thank you. And I promise I will use it cautiously and wisely.
He says, "I know you will, and remember, you didn't get that from me."
Yep, I just found it on the ground. It was kind of funny. Okay. Uh,
And over the course of the days, you do study it, and you pick out some information that might be useful. Make an intelligence check.
all right. Kara do be studying the no.
Auto fail.
No, please. Oh my god, don't do it again. 11.
So you are able to pick out one kind of recipe hint It's not necessarily a full recipe, but it seems like the book is telling you a couple of different plants that can be, when they're like their oils and their stuff in them, they cause like irritation, like skin irritation, burns, the contact burns. You
Ooh.
think if you were able to crush up some of those plant parts and mix them with another plant or some other material that would help emulsify them together and get them to stick to a blade, you think you could make a contact poison out of that. So any kind
Ooh.
of herb that would cause like dermatitis or burns or anything like that, it's not really just going to work on its own because it's just going to fall off your, going to like wear off your blade. But you could probably make some sort of a stable concoction. And we'll go over the crafting stuff. I haven't really hammered it down. I could if I needed to, but that's all you got for right now. So be on the lookout for plants that do stuff like that.
Okay.
You can write it down as an irritant and an emulsifier is how I have them right now. You need those two types of plants in order to try to craft this. And okay, that is it for Kara.
Awesome.
Jessina, did you have any questions?
Not particularly, no.
Jessina, a similar thing happens with you and Jeru. He doesn't have a book for you, but he does inquire about your knowledge on herbalism and alchemy and things like that since you bought the alchemist kit from him. And he helps tutor you on different sorts of plants and things, different properties. He's not necessarily giving you any recipes. He's just kind of teaching you about certain properties plants have, and tells you that by mixing them, you might be able to experiment and come up with some of your own concoctions that can cure a multitude of issues all at once. Could you also make an intelligence check?
Yes. So. Okay, so it's a +1 intelligence.
Yeah, no proficiencies yet. I don't think any of you are proficient in your tools, are you?
I'm proficient in alchemist kit. I had that
You
before.
are?
Yeah, I had the
I have
proficiency
tools,
first.
Proficient in thieves' tools.
Not
I'm
thieves'
proficient
tools.
in-
Poisoners'
Yeah.
kit.
I'm
Oh,
proficient
yeah.
in a couple tools, but I don't have any of those tools.
Okay, so not proficient in poisoner's kit, but alchemist tools you are. You can add your proficiency to it then if you're proficient.
Okay, so 19.
Okay, so you are actually able to deduce two possible recipes.
Woo.
You believe that you can make some sort of a salve for wounds that can be applied to wounds. You're not exactly sure how it would work, but you figure that if you could get something that's an antiseptic and another plant that's anesthetic, so like a local anesthetic to stop local pain, you believe you could probably blend them together into some kind of a poultice that you could be used to treat open wounds. You also have been
What is that? What plus what?
antiseptic and anesthetic. So germ killing and pain relieving. You also, because you have the maiden flowers, you're able to. He kind of teaches you about how they work too, and basically they amplify or empower other herbs, which may not necessarily have super strong healing powers on their own, and it can make them kind of activate magically. If you combine 1 part of maiden flower and 2 parts of some other kind of like internal curative, like something you would eat like as a folk remedy, like, oh, this treats upset stomachs or whatever, that kind of enhances those abilities. So anything that would cure dizziness or be like an analgesic, like Tylenol type of thing. I think what's Tylenol made from?
Acetaminophen.
It's acetaminophen, but like it's kind of cool because like
Coal tar.
that what?
Coal tar.
Like-
Acetaminophen stems from coal tar,
Gross.
a viscous
like the
liquid
tar.
Did not
produced
know that.
when oxygen-deprived coal is subjected to high heat, and the tar that's produced is used to make Tylenol.
That's awful.
I
There
just
was
took
some-
Tylenol tonight too, and I'm gonna vomit.
So there is some kind of a plant that's like, it was like willow bark or something weird like that.
Willow, white willow bark, I believe, is what aspirin comes from.
Aspirin's what I was thinking. I'm not Tylenol. God, coal tar. Why did I have to get that in my fucking
Yeah,
brain?
coal
Thanks.
tar.
Aspirin's what I was thinking of. You said white willow bark, so something like that.
If not,
Where
it's willow bark, but I thought it was white willow bark.
yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, aspirin's the word I was looking for. Something like that where you eat it and it just kind of it's a general
Yep.
anesthetic, but not like an actual general anesthetic, just like a
It is a
pain
common
calmer.
misconception that aspirin is found in the bark of the willow tree.
What?
Oh my god! Where's it actually from?
Okay.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, this other thing says the aspirin story. It says willow bark has been used as traditional medicine for more than. Okay. Well,
Salicin, which would later form the basis of the
Yes.
discovery of acid.
So it's not actually aspirin, but willow bark is a traditional healing medicine.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, my people used to chew on willow bark when they had headaches.
I mean, it probably does something. It looks like it's salicylic acid. Isn't that the same thing you put on your face for acne?
No, that's a different kind of acid, I think.
Anyway, point is something like that where you ingest it and it like just kind of makes you feel better, like for headaches and things like that. Anything like that, analgesic, or
Myrtle
something
and
that
meadowsweet. Myrtle, willow, and meadowsweet.
Those if you find those would all definitely qualify for that part of the recipe. But really anything that would cure like internal problems, you think that just by nature of having the maiden flower with two different things of those would make some sort of a magical elixir that will cure a variety of possible issues.
Okay,
kind of like a cure-all, but not like a super powerful one. But it is a rare magical ingredient.
I could spend some foraging time to look for those kind of things instead of food.
Everything you're describing just sounds like alcohol to me.
Yeah. Well, yes, foraging basically. I've got a whole thing I'm working on. It's going to depend on the area you're foraging in, and what kind of stuff you find, and I'm still working on all that right now. But yes, so you don't have to specifically do that. You're going to get food and that kind of stuff.
So foraging, it'll just be
yeah, it's all just one roll. So you can get the food and stuff like you normally would, but also during the same time you can go, oh, here's a small bush that has this one herb.
It's a willow tree. I'll scrape some bark. Oh, it's a coca plant. I'll put the leaves up my butt.
Yeah, exactly that. And then also you find like your chicken mushrooms. I gave you so many pounds of those. Those are food. Those are the food that you gathered.
Yeah,
those don't really have any special properties. But Will did find some mushroom, which was more like not abundant. It was more like a small portion. So those
Amina muscaria.
It was not that, but you might find those. Anyway, so you've learned some alchemy recipes, and he's helping train you. However, on the third day, you wake up and you're sick as a dog.
Oh, damn it!
And you barf first thing in the morning. And Jeru is like helping you. He's like he's giving you like an herbal tea and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, do you think you can continue training? We're almost finished. This is the last day." And you feel like you probably can. You just aren't feeling great.
Yeah, but I'm worried about how sick I'm feeling. I asked him if I might have picked up a curse from that dungeon I was at.
He says, of course, a curse is always possible, but from the symptoms that you're exhibiting, it seems more likely to be like some sort of a bacterial infection. Did anything happen to you while you were down there that might have like gotten you an infection, or did you contact anything that might be like especially disgusting?
Whole bunch of stuff.
He says, yeah, probably that then. You should probably be careful, like wear gloves when you're touching stuff. If you get cut while you're down there or pierced or bitten, those things are always vectors for plagues. He says, I don't think it's anything serious, but definitely get your rest tonight.
Can I go to the church to heal that or anything, or do I just need rest?
He says they can probably cast a spell on you or sell you a potion. It depending on the severity, it might help, but they kind of charge. They charge money. So unless you want it, I'd see how you're doing in the morning, and if you're still feeling down, it wouldn't hurt to stop by, but I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
'Cause unfortunately, there's nothing I can do in my power to help you. But
You got any weed I can smoke?
oh, you guys have been blazing up the whole time you've been there.
Oh yeah, because I'm a druid. That's okay. I'll just smoke some extra weed. That'll help.
That's part of the level up.
You're leveling up in bong rips.
Yeah, you can't quite do 3 yet. Okay, a little bit more. So yes, you are feeling the same symptoms that Kara was, but all the other stuff you get your training in, and you do level up. And if you would go ahead at the end of your 3rd day of training, make a Constitution saving throw.
So Jacina, Constitution saving throw. She gets a +2. Uh, 21.
All right, you come out of it and you wake up and you're feeling fresh as ever and
Yay.
not sick at all.
Hooray.
All right, and that is it for you, I believe. Pantok, he didn't have anything going on. Surprisingly, he didn't contract any diseases with how much he got attacked.
Huh.
Pantok levels up. I don't think I have anything special for him.
He's got no proficiencies or anything.
Yeah, he's not training anything special. His thing is like spell crafting. So he's already got his special stuff, but you haven't really been doing that much because you're just picking the book spells from the book, which is fine. But Toddy, Jeru and Rufus aren't really much help to you, but you spend your downtime in between training sessions reading from your book. And if you could give me an intelligence check to see what you're able to glean from the pages.
Well, if I could.
If you would.
Yo, guys.
10.
Nick specifically, I hear thunder outside, and I thought I saw
Yeah.
lightning too. Dang, it's loud.
I don't hear
God.
any thunder. That's weird.
If you did, that would be disconcerting.
I
It's
am kind of
Armageddon!
afraid.
Yeah,
Armageddon! No!
it's everywhere.
It's Armageddon. Oh, crap.
Oh god, let's hurry up and finish this game really quick then.
All right, let's go.
Oh, fiddlesticks. Butters. Oh, fiddlesticks.
He goes outside. No, I am playing D&D. This is my time. And you will respect. You respect my time.
I go knocking on James. James, help me! I'm sorry. You gotta get me in. You gotta get me out of the paradise. I fucked up, man.
Okay, just listen. I can do that for you. I just need you. All you have to do is apologize for what the things you've done to me. Just doesn't have to be specific. Just say you apologize for the things you've done to me. James, please look. I'll do anything, but
Eternal nothingness it is.
you have to understand.
Oh well, destruction won't be that bad, I guess. I'm still planning
It'll
whenever.
be like going to sleep and getting the best sleep ever.
Eventually, I'm gonna see him again. Well, actually, I don't know that for sure. But if I ever show up at his house and see him again, and I'm inviting him to come over for New Year's or anything like that, I'm gonna say, "Hey, since Armageddon turned out to not be real, I'm gonna flat out say, like, oh yeah, COVID. Oh, you thought it was Armageddon, so you stopped playing D&D. You stopped playing before COVID, but yeah, I'm totally gonna be like, oh yeah, so it turns out that was all fake. You want to start playing D&D with us again?
We could use that as like a thing. Be like pretend that COVID was the reason he stopped playing, and can like gaslight him into thinking like that. Like, he'll just forget because it's been so long. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was the reason I stopped playing."
You said that you were worried that you didn't want to be caught playing D&D when Armageddon happened and get destroyed, so you stopped. But now COVID is over, and now it's just a flu. And so yeah, I guess that was all fake. So you can just come play D&D with us.
Exactly.
Just tell your mom, Jamie, you're not supposed to consort with demons. No, Mom, remember, it turns out Armageddon was a hoax and it's never going to happen.
D&D was created by a witness, so it's okay.
That's
true.
Oh my god, and we'll just leave out the part where he disassociated himself later. We could, because now we actually know that now. So if whenever we see him again, we could totally be like, oh yeah, you should. Why don't you play with us again? Like I'm joking about the whole Armageddon thing, but like it was
And Mikey
created.
would still actually say that.
It was created by a witness. No, it wasn't. Go Google it. What the hell? Oh,
And he's not going to
while
look
you're
into it
at
any
it.
further.
Yeah.
That's once he finds out you were telling the truth, he'll be like, yeah, I guess.
And if he does happen to come back and be like, no, he was disassociated, we could be like, and do people play Michael Jackson's music? And he got disassociated or
Yeah.
disfellowship.
So Michael
So
Jackson.
we should just do 6 degrees of separation on of the witnesses to everything he enjoys, so eventually he has nothing left.
The truth is just he didn't want to hang out with us. That's really what it was. He was just digging for an excuse. Like he just doesn't want to hang out with us. He's just a loser.
Why? I don't understand why not.
We're nice to him now. We need to start fucking with him again. That's what we need to do. I need to set his yard on fire like I always promised I would. I'll call up Ty Brown. I'll message him on Facebook. I can find him on Facebook right now. I'm friends on Facebook with his son. All I have to do is go on JD's account and look for Ty and just send him a message and be like, I have a proposition for you. What proposition? Go drink a fifth of whiskey and then I'll explain. I'm already there. Excuse me. He's just some stupid, boring boomer, too. He was not the hero that we hoped he would be. He made promises. No, Ty Brown.
Oh.
He made a pledge that he was going to come back and he was going to K James's entire family. And no, he's just another lying boomer. Just wasting away. Or maybe he went to AA and maybe we need to get him back off the wagon.
Oh my god.
Or is it on the wagon? Anyway,
quick aside. It looks like spell focuses don't increase saving throw, but this one does. So I'm gonna have to modify your character sheet manually. You'll have to modify it manually because there's not going to be a way you can just add a thing that says it. But what we'll do is we'll add Wand of the War Mage, which will increase your spell attack modifier. But you're going to have to just manually increase your DC and note on the item. This is for Zach, by the way.
Yeah.
And note on the item that it increases, you can say like +1 spell save. And I think all we have to do is manually change your spell save DC. Oh man, I don't want to change it manually.
Well, we have a week to fuck around with it.
Yeah, I'll fuck around with it. But so anyway, this one is actually stronger than a regular spell focus because of that. But yeah.
So awesome.
Now
I have to take up transmutation so I can turn it into a second beer stein.
Yeah. Yeah, Stein of Maggoth.
That is a really, really cool looking stein to drink from, all inlaid with gems and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's just an illusion, so drink very carefully from this end only. Not an actual transmute. It's just an illusion. Ah, my eye. My tongue.
Okay, so there's a thing called Rod of the Pact Keeper, which gives you a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and the saving throw of DCs of your warlock spells.
It is. Oh my god.
So the mechanics must exist, but it's probably doing some weird text parsing. So you should just add Rod of the Pact Keeper, or just.
I'm not sure if it'll work on non-warlock stuff, but I'll try it. That's a good point. I only looked at one. I didn't look at both. But if you're right.
You could probably copy it and then add it as a new line, and then fuck around with it, and maybe like change warlock to wizard spell, or delete the last part or something. I bet there's
it work.
Yeah, I bet the code's in there. Sound alert is hard.
I'll do that for now and see what it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it just works. Sweet. Yeah, it doesn't care about class. It just works. So,
but you should copy it and rename it.
Yeah, well, I'll rename it. Because that's how those things work. Every one of those examples, the only reason they all exist is because they are a unique example. There's not anything that's duplicated in there. So, if you want +1 armor, it's leather. even if you find another armor that's +1, you use the same leather one. If you want a different name, you have to copy it. So yeah, that's why there's Rod of the Pack Keeper and Wand of the War Mage, because they actually have 2 different mechanical effects.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to roll hit points now?
Not yet. Toddy has also studied her book, and she got the result of a 10, I believe. That was your int check. Jeez.
Yeah, that was after I added my +4.
Okay, so let me find this here.
Learned nothing. In fact, you unlearned something. Hurrah!
No, you do glean some information from the pages of your book. Enough of it is simplistic enough that you can figure it out. If you create a brew that is grain based, so like at least 2 parts of like a grain, like rye or barley or wheat, and you brew it with something that is that's toxic. So any sort of like negative toxic effects, usually something that would cause like nausea or something like that, but you can just put toxic and we'll figure it out. And you brew those together. You believe that you can brew it in a way where the alcohol will denature the toxicity and will just add kind of an extra buzz onto it, kind of like a think absinthe type of thing. In order to make a brew that would fortify the drinker in some way. Like you think, like having that extra little adulteration in the beer could make them a little bit more. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Basically, I have the details here, but that's what you get. So it's 2 parts of grain to 1 part of something toxic. Should result in this brew. You want to note that down.
We just had a power flicker, so we could have a power outage. So I think we need to kind of
pretty much.
I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know.
Yep. That was it. That was the last thing I had. Kara had the most things. So let's go ahead and roll Let's go ahead and roll HP and get those noted down. And don't suck.
I'm rolling Pantox and Justina next to each other. Pantox first. Go on. Okay, 4. Better than average.
Hey.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
All right, add that shit up, put it in the thing, and Justina continues to be the tank.
As always.
For me, it's a D6 plus my con, right?
Correct. So what you do is you roll the D6 and you add it into the little section to the right of your speed where it says HP.
Do we have to add our con in as well? It does?
It automatically adds your con. You only put the dice roll. Oof.
Oh, fucking hell! Come on.
It
You saw that? I was like, that's one of the times when you're actually like, sitting there going hopeful. I hope it lands on the 2. I hope it stays on the 2.
It does not appear to automatically add the con.
What? Yeah, it does.
But when I added 8, it only went up by 8.
Hold on.
Oh wait, maybe when my level. Hold on, let me change something. Okay, yeah. When you get the XP, it actually adds your con in.
Oh yeah, because it calculates it adds everything in the column and then multiplies your con by your level. So if you weren't actually leveled up yet, then it wouldn't be adding it. That makes sense.
So Pantok, in case you guys didn't see, I didn't see what yours were, so I want you to tell me. But Pantok gained 4, which is decent because the average is 3, so that's actually okay. The last level he gained 1, so the 4 is really good. So he went from 11 to 17. Jessina rolled an 8. So she got max. So she's rolled an 8, a 6, and an 8. She has 28 hit points.
Where do we put in our low roll again on the sheet?
Hold on. Your last roll was a 1-2. Nick, can you please go and get your special metal dice and roll a d6 for Zach, because I don't want him to roll 2 1s in a row.
Yes, hold on.
But also I know I'd ask for Zach to roll it, but I know you don't have your dice ready. No,
I see where to add it.
You're not getting 2 1s in a row. Yeah, it'd be below that 1, but you already have so low HP, and I'm not dealing with that.
Well, the weird thing is that wasn't showing up for me until a minute ago. I think it was like I scrolled, and it was like it didn't appear until I scrolled.
He rolled a 1 for level 2 and level 3.
Yeah, that was his role the last time too. We all laughed about it, and he did it again.
Okay. Well, if I get a 1, I think that's the
No, I
gods
think
are
it's destiny.
deciding.
My character's constitution is surprisingly poor.
Okay, I'm.
Let's
Yeah,
see,
at
I'll
least
drink it.
Pantok has a +2 Constitution. Maybe you should have taken Mirror Image.
No, I have a +3
Rip.
constitution. I'm just pointing out I keep rolling low, so my character's constitution is a lie.
Oh, okay. Your real life Constitution is
Yeah.
low. Okay.
You're only gaining your constitution.
Okay,
basically.
I've been rolling this whole time. Zach, you say go, and then I'll drop the die. Okay.
Go.
Oh, it went on the floor. Does it count or not? I haven't looked yet.
If you haven't looked, it'll count if you can find it.
It's right here, but I can't see it because it's metal and it's in the shadows. But it is definitely stopped. It dropped. It fell on my laptop transformer and then bounced off of that onto the ground. Zach, is it count or not?
It counts. I still think I'm taking the 1 anyways. 'Cause that's
2.
fair.
Oh.
Two's
See,
acceptable.
at that
make-
point,
I rolled it
it's
again and
fair.
got a
I think it's
3.
lie.
I rolled it
That should
again and
make-
got a 3. If I keep rolling, it'll eventually get to 6.
That should make you feel better because you're
3,
getting an extra HP out of pity, but it's only
2,
1 extra HP. So
But
it's
that's
2.
like
not fair. That's not right.
it really
I got a
is.
rolled
6.
It
one.
really is fair.
I got a
Justina
6.
has gotten an 8, a 6, and an 8. Although you guys didn't roll level 1.
Justina's taking all the luck. It took me. I literally got 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 6. So yeah, I think you should just take the 2.
That's kind of the name of the game, though. That's why we're rolling. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you, but I mean, you're gonna either have to play very carefully
Yeah.
or plan on dying because that's at 3rd level, having rolled 2 1s, you're going to be significantly weaker than everyone else, and you're going to basically be. Pantok rolled a 1. That's why Pantok's been having so much trouble. Now he rolled
Yeah.
a 1 his last time. You've now rolled 2 1s.
Pentok also
so-
barges into the room first because
That-
he forgets he's
yes.
a wizard.
That is
Also
true.
So I mean, as long as you're okay with playing carefully, and when we're playing at the table, what I roll for the end, I can help. I mean, creatures can behave in certain ways or whatever. I'm not going to have them like give up on you. But if I roll damage and it kills you, your character can die.
I'd
So-
say
I'm aware.
I'd say take the
Okay.
2 because I rolled my special magic dice. It gave and the magic dice decided to give you 1 extra, and you said go, and it bounced dramatically. And
Yeah.
I had plenty of space for it to drop too. So I think it chose to jump off of my desk, and then it landed on my laptop transformer. So that's pretty like. It's trying to tell you something. It wants you to have 1 more HP. At some point in the future, you're gonna barely
Yeah,
not
true.
die by 1 HP, and then you'll
Exactly, yeah.
know.
That's why you have to add 1 because we can call back on this moment and be like, but you would have died. Your whole party would have wiped if you had gone unconscious, but you were able to because of
If
that.
we're ever in that type of situation, we're screwed anyways.
True, but as the DM, I have other things at work that I just thought of. So you get the 2. That is your result. It's not a question now of if you want it. You get the 2 for reasons to possibly be revealed later.
I rolled the special metal dice. In fact, I think I need to start rolling those more.
That was the reason, but now I have a different reason, and it is definitively 2. Canon is 2.
2 cannon.
And that reason is to be determined.
It's not to be determined. I
As a joke.
have people who can vouch for me that there's a reason behind it, but I can't tell you the reason.
That's sus.
Yep.
That is sus.
Anyway, I guess that's
My
about
turn.
it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Car
Oh.
roll.
You
Sorry.
guys forgot about me.
Oh, I thought you
Alright.
I thought you rolled and
Actually
just
have
didn't tell us the
pages,
total
like, rogue
yet.
Pages pulled up.
Come here. Come
Make
here.
sure
come
you
here.
roll the
Oh,
right
come
dice.
On, come on. Okay. That's good. I
What-
think that's
3.
good.
That's average.
Wait, are you
Yeah.
what'd you roll? Did you roll a D6?
Yes.
Rogues or D8?
Rogues are
Oh. Yeah, it's true.
Well, hopefully I'll have a little bit more luck this time. All right, come here, come hither. Okay.
If it goes off the table, it's a 1.
4.
Average again.
There you go.
I
Off
decided
the
that's going to
table,
be
my-
average.
My second roll went off the table.
Yeah.
That's true. Yours did. Well, yours was a physical table where it could actually land on the ground. the dice table.
Yeah,
This one
yeah.
doesn't because they get stuck in the air. When I saw everyone updating their levels, it all looks good except Kara. Can you So you're supposed to have a subclass in your name. Phantom
Okay.
doesn't exist in the table though,
Rip.
but
Bleh.
the only thing it does is it adds like any proficiencies and things like that you would normally get. Phantom actually does have that kind of cool ability where you can gain a proficiency after a short rest, but you don't really need to track those anywhere special. You'll just have to note which one you have after every rest. But this sheet recommends that you don't leave your subclass blank because it can cause issues and like calculate the wrong subclass. So can you write Phantom Rogue 3?
Yeah.
And I think that should solve the problem.
And
if it doesn't, then we'll add the
they-
Phantom Rogue.
Yeah, they might need to just add Phantom Rogue because like the Thief, Assassin,
Huh,
and Inquisitive.
It says it's good. Like
Okay.
the pop-up isn't showing
Okay.
up, and so I add 4 more HP to my max. Woo!
Add it. Put it in the. You know what column to put it in, right? Not in your regular HP column.
Hit point max.
No, so you put it. So hold on.
No, hit point max
Yeah,
automatically calculates. So
Okay.
you have this HP column to the right. It's in column AC.
It's highlighted in blue because I'm selecting it.
I can't. I'm gonna see it.
Right here.
It's right to the right of your speed.
Oh.
It says 8 and then 2 and then there's a blank one right below.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done that, so I kind of
Yeah.
forgot about it. All right, and then give it a 4. Holy shit, that was close.
Yeah. Yeah. That lightning's pretty close.
Nice.
Oh, and make sure everyone updates your max HP.
Yeah. Set your current to your max. Oh, and no, I guess that's
Oh
it.
god.
If you're counting your if you're counting your hit dice, your used hit dice in temporary hit points, you need to update it to 3.
Yep.
Okay.
You should have. It should be 3d8 in both sections.
3d8. 3d8. Awesome. Oh god, that storm is scaring me. Hopefully this anti-flooding stuff will work. I haven't had a flood
that's
yet.
why.
Well, I mean, some of it's in. Yeah, they had to install 9 piers under our foundation and jack it up.
Ugh.
So, like, they dug under our house and then installed them. And I was sitting here on the low side of the house, and I couldn't feel it moving up, but I could feel like the house shaking, almost like an earthquake. And it was the noises were very creepy. But then I went outside, and I can tell that the corner of the house is higher than it was. And now I'm like, oh my god! So basically, this foundation was just like sagging on one side. Like, oh my god! All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up because the lightning keeps hitting, and I don't want to end with a power outage.
Yep, we are wrapped up. One very more quick thing on Kara's sheet. So
Yeah.
your Phantom ability lets you pick a proficiency that you gain basically
yeah.
the end of a short or a long rest. You gain it permanently until you change it. So if you want to pick that now, just so you have one and you don't forget it, but you can always change it after a short or a long rest. So for the initial one, which ability score would you like to improve?
Okay.
Dex.
That is the
It's a skill, and it has to be one that's not trained. It gains proficiency in a
yeah. Would you guys call me crazy if I went for animal handling because of Tokage?
Crazy.
That's not a bad idea to start with.
Do you have
So
all
the
the
thing
Dex
is, like-
ones? If you have all the Dex ones, go for it.
Next
I
level,
have
you should-
almost all the Dex ones, I think.
Acrobatics. No one needs that.
next level, you should subclass into druid so you can speak with animals. So Nick can take whatever he wants.
No. 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 Yeah, I want to go with animal handling. Hee hee.
Okay, so mark that with I think you change the number to the left of animal handling, try changing it to a 1. The radio button, click in it and then type 1.
Um, could you highlight it for me?
Oh yeah, it's the one below the one I'm highlighting.
I don't see where you're highlighting.
So look at your skills where it says like acrobatics and stuff, and then
Yep.
there's a circle to the left of the plus. That's the square
Yes.
that you click. There you go. And now
Okay.
type 1 and hit enter.
There we go.
Now, one other thing I want to try making it a 2 instead. I'm not sure how the sheet handles that. And let me know when you've done it.
I did it.
Okay, so the reason I'm doing that, I think, is what it's checking is checking if it's 0 or not 0. I'm marking it with a 2. That way we don't forget that where you got the proficiency from, that it was specifically from your trait. All of your other proficiencies will be a 1, which means you got it from your basic character. The 2 is the
Okay.
one that bounces around. So if it's a 2, that way we don't go, oh crap, which one did you pick? Oh no, I've got to go watch the VOD now. We can go, oh, it's the one that's marked with the 2. It was animal handling, erase it and move on. So, yep. Believe we are all set. Everyone's leveled up and ready to go. Just a quick question, other than if anyone else had any questions or anything. What do we plan on doing next session? Are you planning on going recruiting Elmo and heading off to back to the dungeon?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
And
what
just
I want to do. And I'm pretty sure that's what everyone else wants to do.
that is what I'll plan on then. And just one more quick reminder. We are doing spell points, and this is the spell point conversion table. And we'll deal with that at the start of next session probably. For
Fun.
calculating everyone's spell points they have, but that's the little chart thing.
Now,
Actually,
clarity, you did write rules for clarity where it can use slots, but we can do points if we.
Spell points I think is really cool, and it works a lot better with the clarity thing. But also, there's like other things you can do. It's just having spells.
Yeah, I don't remember how it works, but I looked at it before, and it's pretty cool. So if we want to talk about it at the beginning of next session, that's fine with me.
It's precisely identical to spell slots, except you can use higher level slots broken down to cast lower level spells,
Yeah.
essentially. So there is no negative for it. If you want to continue tracking it with just spell slots, you absolutely can. But if you want the additional tracking, it just adds a level of freedom.
Yeah, that'd be cool. The only thing I don't like is that the sheet is not made for it, so I would
True.
feel compelled to find a way to update it. So it just works so nice with the slots.
The way that I would recommend is actually very, very simple. You basically are going to ignore anything that says any slots other than your first level ones. You're going to change max to whatever your current spell points are, and then for slots, you just change your max is your max spell points, slots is your current spell points. Because we don't have to actually track each individual level, none of those additional ones down the way matter. You just put them as, you can erase them or mark them as 0 or clear them out of the sheet because they won't matter. You just need one. If you wanted to, you can even update. You could move the slots to the top level where cantrips are and write spell points, and then erase all the other ones. And you actually have an extra 5 spells per page to fit on there. So it's a pretty simple fix. It's not complicated at all.
We'll talk about it next time.
The other way would suck, but that way, going from slots to spell points is a lot easier than going the other way.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah, okay. Game is over. I've saved the map, and let me just flip the table. And good game. Thanks for playing, everyone.
And we can just plan on next Tuesday. At least I don't have to work in the office next Tuesday, so
Yeah.
I don't really see. Since Tuesdays are my therapy days, I kind of get off work a little early anyway, so it's not terrible. And for now, let's just plan it because we haven't come up with anything better.
Sounds good. Yeah, the only thing that would be a big deal is you're in office day, and that was today. So.
Yep.
Okay. Then we're good to go. Everyone have a good night. And
okay.